All right, welcome everyone to I think it's the fifth race of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Cup Series on Nerd TV. My name is Jeremy, of course, and right below me, as always, as well, Mr. Kenny Bishop. How you doing tonight, man?
What is up, my nerd? I am doing good tonight. Ready to get Atlanta going. After watching Atlanta yesterday, I'm ready to get kind of the old racetrack back on here.
The old racetrack, yeah. I like the new stuff. So the new Atlanta was different. It's cool, but I'm also glad to be broadcasting the old version of Atlanta. Probably, one last time. But yeah, this track is. I was firsthand with it on Thursday in the Xfinity Series at Full Throttle Sim Racing, and loose is going to be the story of the night.
Yeah, I hope you brought your notebook because I know the last couple of nights it's kind of been a little off, but you had a little practice. I know it was Xfinity cars, but you've been out there. So what do you got in store for us tonight?
Yeah, there's no better playbook to bring than the one that you actually have experience with firsthand. I'm expecting a pretty solid first half of a run if we get a long run, which is, at FTSR, that's expected. But the long run, that's where you're going to make up a lot of ground if you can keep those tires comfortable, because they just track how bumpy it is. It's just, if you're not loose, you're not doing something right, and these cars they're no different. The Xfinity cars was super handful amount of wheel that I was using, and it's a tough track.
Yeah, it's a tough track. It's definitely a driver's track, which a lot of these guys out here, they love that style of racing. So what a great group of guys that would go out here and watch it with, and the Full Throttle Sim Racing crew, because we know they're going to put a heck of a show on, as we see right here on Nerd TV. I've been watching this car all night. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. It's a nice looking car out there. I like that.
Yeah, kind of a cool touch, kind of a fun scheme. Sometimes, or a lot of times, rather, you see cars just very generic looking, which look cool. There's nothing wrong with them. But when you see something like that, it's really fun to look at. But I've been looking at, too, is Boomerang Motorsports. Those 4 rookies on that team. Brian Dublé leading the field first on the point here in practice. They have all 4 rookies in the top 8 in practice here.
Yeah, they've been on a roll this season. Not only just in practice, but they're able to carry it over to the race. So I wouldn't expect anything different from them. We've been seeing it all season long. There's only the only one up there kind of that's been competing with them is Richie Coy there, and Chuck Sweeting's been coming on strong as of late too. So, but that team's just been kicking butt all season.
Yeah, it's actually top 2. Brian Dublé and Josh Johnson lead the way for Boomerang Motorsports. Then you have James Wallace sitting back there in 8th place. And also another one I want to notate before we kick it over to qualifying too is Chuck Sweeting. We've seen him on a tear in the first half of these runs, and now more so in the late runs. He's kind of put himself in a good contention for the points battle.
Yeah, he has. And you didn't mention Ryan there in the 47. He's sitting 6th fastest in practice, and that's actually leading the points. He's only got an 8-point lead on Brody. Brody can't drive these cars, Hannah, apparently, but has got 3 wins this season. He's only sitting 8 points back. So 8 points back, 3 wins, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s. So he's been slowly itching closer to Ryan on that points lead.
Brody, I saw him chatting with the guys earlier, and he apologized for how much of a handful these Cup cars are. But at the same time, he's going out here and getting wins and competing for the points. And I don't know about him at this point. He's throwing us for a loop as far as he doesn't like these cars, but he's doing so well with them.
Yeah, and I don't see him out here on practice right now. So, that would be a big hit if Brody can't make it tonight. Sitting second in the points, only 8 points back. We still got some time. I mean, not much time. We only got about a minute or two. So let's see if he can make it in here, because that would be a big points hit. But if he does, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in, no practice, no qualifying, and then still ends up top 5.
We've seen it before, and it's likely we'll see it again if he can make it back in for sure. And yeah, that's a great thing to notate. Your second place in points, Brody Hanna, not here as of right now. And from per admins, we should be going to qualifying in just a minute. A little bit of a technical difficulty getting the server up and running, and so their practice has been limited from their usual 35-40 minutes down to I think about 20 is what they've had. So these guys haven't had as much time as normal to get their setup fine-tuned. If a lot of these guys like to come in here short-handed and just winging it. They're not going to have as much luck as they would normally.
No, yeah, and you see here Jeff in the 55. He has 40 laps that he's put on practice, so he's kind of put some laps out there. But some guys, like you said, only put 5, 10. Casey McMullen hasn't even ran a lap yet. So there's a couple out there. They're not getting as much practice as they normally do, but I don't think that'll be a big issue. Only thing is probably as far as adjusting their setups and things like that. But as far as the track, it's the old track's nothing different. They've done it before. If it was the new track and try and get a feel for it, that'd be a little different. But luckily, they've had some experience on it. They should be okay.
Yeah, I think Casey McMullen rather is finally figured out what he needed to do to get that car ready for a track surface, and he's actually making his hot lap right now. With probably we don't know the exact time, but they're going to kick it over to qualifying here shortly. So we're going to see what Casey McMullen can do on his lap here, as you see him right now on TV on the backstretch. He's currently sitting 4th in points, 22 back of your rookie and points leader Ryan Hendrick. Really high line here for the first line. You see the marbles there up at the very top of the wall as he comes off the turn 4. We're going to see what kind of lap time he posts. It looks like the admins are getting ready, and he slams that wall, puts himself dead last, so he's actually 4/10 off Jeff Brayton, who's right in front of him. So that car doesn't look like it's up to speed.
No, and he might have had a little bit of frustration there, kind of throwing it into the start-finish right as it was switching over from practice to qualifying. As we see there, get a little partly cloudy as the track got a little dark there, so that should make for an interesting qualifying session here.
Should speed things up, and that's actually going to be the end of the Martin Sports pre-race show. We got some people to thank while these guys turn around their hot times and see who can start the grid here for tonight's Atlanta 200. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Full Throttle Sim Racing, the league that we are broadcasting tonight. I've said it plenty of times at this point. Been around for 16 years. iRacing since 2017, and we keep talking about how good their stuff is, and you keep seeing it, and you keep hearing the drivers, and there's nothing but respect all across the board. Please go check their website out, ftsr.net. 5 different series spread across 5 different nights. And actually, I think their weekend series on Saturday consists of 3 different cars. So there's really, 7 different cars to choose from. So ftsr.net. And then we have Sim Racing Points, the official presenting sponsor of the truck series that you see every Wednesday night on Nerd TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's that all-inclusive league points management system that allows league owners and admins the ability to completely track their league stats and points with a simple upload. Sim Racing Points does not stop there. For the avid webmaster, they also allow the creation of custom widgets, which are very handy for any league website to fully display points, results, and more that easily update the results when they are uploaded. Just a few simple clicks of a mouse, any league can be up and running and looking good while doing so. Check out their price plans at www.simracingpoints.com. Then we have Martin Sports, home of the sim gloves of all of sim racing. You super nerd at checkout for 25% off. It's that small time company with a big time product, specializing in customized printing of shirts, hats, hoodies, nerd swag coming up soon on their lineup as well. That should be debuting real shortly, if not already. So make sure you have that on your favorites tab. That is martinsports906.com. Again, once super nerd at checkout, get you 25% off anything in that shopping cart. iRacing iFlag. That is your caution light system, your green light system. Whatever you see, whatever flag is out, you see it in your sim rig, bright, clear as day, and it keeps the distractions away. You don't have to, figure out, if your spotters are off and you don't know if there's a caution out or when the green flag drops. The system has you covered, and they do some customizations as well for you. So, iRacingIFlag.com, super nerd at checkout for 15% off. It's a one-of-a-kind product, 3D printed. Awesome stuff, man. Go check them out. And then the Butt Kicker Gamer 2 unit. It's actually at your producer's house, Mr. Dustin himself. Got a nice review on YouTube for you. It's a device that connects to the bottom of your sim rig or chair. that gives you that deeper level of gaming immersion. It gives the taptic transducer feedback that easily attaches, by the way. So there's no, how do I do this? How do I do that? It's super easy. It mounts on. Get all the bumps and feels of the track directly put in your sim rig. That's thebuttkicker.com. And you're going to use Nerd TV at checkout for 20% off. All right. We got about a minute left in qualifying, rather. And it looks like Mr. Brian Dublé, who led practice, is also at the point, Kenny, in qualifying.
Yeah, he's just taking off right where he left off in practice there. And I was watching Richie Coy's lap. He's putting down a hot lap there for a while until Brian came through and knocked him off. But you see Truck Sweeting there round off the top three. But you know what I noticed, Jeremy, is Brody did not make it to tonight's event. So hopefully everything's okay with him. But that's definitely going to put a hit on him in the points.
Yeah, there's no drop weeks or anything too, so he's got a lot of work to do. There's no playoff system either, so it's you can't miss one of these races and still compete for the points. So this is definitely going to probably take him out of contention for the points battle. But I mean, he's still got a lot of drivers around him even after this race is over. He's going to be able to compete with to get as many spots as he can. But yeah, Brody Hanna does not look like he'll be making tonight's race. That is really unfortunate. I'm sure Sherwood Williford is sitting there in third place, 14 points back. He's actually one of those people that are smiling. Probably like Casey McMullen and James Wallace as well, who are going to be taking that position once tonight's event's over.
Yeah, he's pretty much a whole, race ahead of 14th place and so forth. So, yeah, he'll definitely take a hit. And this is a shortened season, not a full race season since 2013, I believe, 12 or 13 races. So, definitely won't have much time, but I think they're getting ready to get on the grid right now, Jeremy. So I think we should run through the top order here.
Yeah, we should. Quick mention on YouTube, we got a group rooting for Boomerang Motorsports. Those rookies, man, are tearing it up this year for Full Throttle Sim Racing, and they got some cheerleaders watching. But that being said, Brian Dublé, as I already said, is taking position number 1 on your grid here. All right to his outside, it's going to be Richie Coy in second. Chuck Sweeting, who I mentioned is on a tear recently and getting better and better, more consistent. He's sitting in third. Josh Johnson right to his outside, a Boomerang Motorsports car, sitting in fourth. Ryan Hedrick, your points leader, in fifth place. Kenneth Scholes with a pretty decent qualifying time at sixth. Josh Mayu in seventh. Kevin Rupert, eighth. Ninth place will be Wayne Grassy. And to round out the top 10, Gil Gawk.
And 11th is going to be Brian Bliss. Starting 12th, Brandon Elder. 13th is going to be Super Matty Watkins. 14th is Tony Solari. 15th is Sherwood Williford. 16th is Lane Allen. And then everyone else that did not take a qualifying lap, we have 17th James Wallace. 18th Casey McMullen. 19th James Torrey. And 20th Shane Pibala.
21st Matthew Gehringer. 22nd Chris Beck. 23rd Chad Lang. 24th will be Steve Loomis and Jeff Bratton. I think he's that one in that Chick-fil-A skin. Going to be rounding out your field in that 55 and 25th place. These cars are rolling off, and I got some questions, Kenny. How's Casey going to do? He's fourth in points. Who's going to take advantage of Brody not being here? You got some questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, this is definitely a big night for really, your top 5, even top 6. They were 21 points back there from Brody, so they definitely can make up some room. Brian, that basically went from an 8-point lead on second to a 14-point lead, so he's going to have some gap on him as well. So this is going to play a whole different ballgame for everybody, and it's going to kind of tighten up those points just a little bit more. Ryan, really, he's the one that can benefit the most if he can have a great run tonight.
Yeah, he's got a 14-point advantage over third, and if he can do something with that and get himself a top 5, it's just going to be more the merrier for him. There's no playoff system, so, whatever he can get, absolutely. Pace car is down. Brian Dublé, first time this season, going to lead the field to the green flag. Flagman, premature as always. Green flag is out, and looks like Richie Coy gets an excellent start over Brian.
Yeah, Richie Coy got a good start there as they're heading down in the turn 1. See if they can hold it here. Side-by-side racing all the way back still. No one's really jumping around for position as we see Brian's going to try and get that momentum coming off the low side here and going to jump right in front of Richie.
Yeah, pretty good battle here to start the race. Brian will take that first spot. Richie Coy falls into second, and you got to take care of them tires. So Yeah, I wouldn't expect a lot of drivers to be super aggressive early unless you're in the back trying to get some spots gained. But as you see real quickly, everyone fanning out single file.
Yeah, I almost saw 3 wide there about halfway through the pack, sitting 10th and 11th place there. I thought Matty Watkins was going to go for 3 wide, but he decided to back off as those guys in the back are kind of fanning out a little bit as they're running, single file up at the front here. But in the back there, mid-pack, they're having some battles here, like I said, about that top 10 spot.
It looks like Josh Mayu got loose in turn 2. Is going to fall to the clutches, possibly to the 85 Gil Gawk. And on that outside line, Gil Gawk and the 99 of Matty Watkins going to be taking that spot over the 0-2 as well. As he loses a couple spots, that shows that turn 2 is already being a little treacherous here. We're seeing the 0-2 get loose right now, Josh Mayu, and it's not good. And then the bottom, from my experience in the Xfinity Series, is that long run. I feel like the top lane is going to be the way to be.
Yeah, and you can see he lost, 3-4 spots there with just that little mishap. So definitely going to play a factor tonight. But as we see right here on Nerd TV, Chuck Sweeting's trying to get that high side going on. He's going to fall right behind Wayne here as they're coming across the start-finish line. Matty Watkins is kind of moving up through the field here pretty nicely. He's looking on the inside of Chuck as they're heading down in the 1 and 2, see if he's going to be able to complete this pass as they're going to be coming off a 2 here shortly.
And Matty Watkins already 6 spots earned since the drop the green flag, just 4 laps to go. Currently sitting in 7th place, and he's looking at Chuck Sweeting to take 6. He's going to dive it down to the bottom, and a little bit of a check up there in the middle of 3, but gets a decent launch entering the turn number 4, side by side, and I think he's going to grab 6 this lap. Nope, Chuck actually took it back from him.
Yeah, and as we were looking there a little bit further up front here, Josh Johnson went ahead and took the 2nd spot away from Richie Coy, so you're sitting Brian Dublé, Josh Johnson, and Richie Coy as your top 3 with your points leader, Ryan Hedrick, sitting in 4th. So those two, Brian's kind of pulled out a little bit, but you can see Josh and Richie Coy here battling it out with Ryan not too far behind them.
Yep, that's that Boomerang Motorsports 1-2 right now. Richie Coy does fall back to 3rd as you see the nose of that 19 DeWalt Ford Mustang. Still not letting go, though. He wants that 2nd place back from Josh Johnson.
Yeah, and he's sitting in 4th place is that other Boomerang of Ryan Hedrick. So, got 3 of them in the top 4 as they're doing pretty good so far this season and still carrying on at Atlanta. As Richie, he's looking on the inside, but he's not going to be able to make that pass on Josh Johnson just this time. But he's still going to be looking to see if he can do it on the bottom as these two are battling it out. And then as we see, a little bit further back of them, you just got single file from there on back until about 10th place as you see a little battle here between the 0-2, I believe, but that's Brian Bliss that he's battling with right there as well. So as they're heading down turn 1 and 2, see who can take that top spot coming off of 2.
Brian Bliss finally gets him cleared. He was fighting Josh Mayu for probably upwards of 2 laps. Finally able in dominant fashion to just clear him in 1 and 2, no problem. And that's going to bring the number 1 of Kevin Rupert and his Ford Mustang now to the back of Josh Mayu, as Josh has actually lost 4 spots rather, since the drop of the green flag. Yeah,
he's been following back here, and ever since that little mishap he got off of 2, he's just trying to regain his focus. We see him there. A little bit of Kevin Rupert there. Got a little loose coming off of 4. Nice little save there, but everyone checked up and jumped to the high side. He's going to be losing a couple spots there, but as we see jumping on the high side, he got a little bit of momentum here with the 85 and the 11. Tony Solari back there. They're trying to get around him as he got still trying to get that momentum back up for coming off loose off of 2. Off of 4.
Yeah, the story that I said earlier was loose, and we're already seeing a couple people affected by it. Even though you might want to take it easy, at the same time, this track does loosen up quick, and it's already starting to play a factor a little bit. You want to save those tires, but when you get loose, you just scrub a lot of tire wear off that thing, and the long run is just going to get worse and worse for you.
Yeah, definitely. You see Tony Solari here coming on the outside, make a pass. Kind of jumped ahead too. We got Richie Coy here going back for that 2nd spot. He's looking on the inside as they're in 3 and 4. So Richie's going to actually, I believe, take that spot away from Josh Johnson here if he can hold it. Nope, not going to be able to hold it coming off of 2, but Richie is going to take. Yeah, he is. He actually got it coming off of 2. Nice. There's off of 4. Getting these little turns backwards, Jeremy.
They haven't reversed the track since they repaved it in 2003, I think, right around that ballpark area, where the back stretch was the front stretch. But yeah, Richie Coy is he's got his car comfortable. He's let the tires heat up, and as you see, he makes a lot of ground here on the 37 of Brian Dublé. And it looks like Brian's actually fallen back quite a bit. His lap times have dropped back further than most others.
Yeah, and you can see just the amount that Richie has actually pulled on Josh and gained on Brian. So he might have this thing, like you said, let those tires warm up, have this thing set in for for that type of run. As he's getting a great run here as they're coming off of 2, as he's going to be coming up to the backside of Brian. I'd expect him to get him here in a lap or 2 the way that he's been gaining on him. Going to put him in the top spot and still have those Boomerang Motorsports though sitting 3 together in the top 5. So it's still great, and it's early. I mean, we have 163 laps tonight, so plenty of time.
You saw Brian Dublé get right next to the outside wall, turn number 4 on that exit, and I saw that in practice too. He's been up there against that wall on corner exit, flirting with disaster. Looking at the lap times, I saw Richie Coy's only dropped back 3/10 since his lap 2 fastest lap time, and Brian Dublé is actually already 4/10 off of his fastest lap time. So there's already some discrepancy there in the tire wear. We see the 19, Richie Coy, trying to get around Dublé here for the race lead, and does so, renew race leader.
Yeah, Richie Coy is going to be taking the race lead as we're on lap 13 now, and he's going to see if he can kind of set sights and just kind of pull away from these guys and have that nice fresh air. But we see it all kind of bunch up behind these guys. I mean, now you have 6 cars really right there all coming in, so it's kind of bunch this group up here as the tire wear is starting to take effect a little bit. But this is the closest we've seen the top 7 all race.
Since we got them bunched up, I would like to do this for the 3rd time. Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels we debuted a couple weeks ago, and since they got a lot of cars in the short pack, I figured why not. So we're going to kick back and let you guys enjoy the sights and sounds of the cars. All right, guys, and we're back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little bit there. We saw some cool little camera angles there from onboard shots, front end, back end. And these next gen cars have all camera angles covered, unlike other cars in the past from NASCAR, where they have cameras everywhere, Ken.
Yeah, they definitely do, and it's pretty sweet just kind of seeing all these different camera angles that we have, whether it's on the car, the Gopher camera, things like that. It's just great, the sights and sounds that you can get from these things these days.
Yeah, for sure. Not much has changed since we kicked back and let you guys do your thing. Top 3, pretty stagnant. Chuck Sweeting's actually made some ground here in 4th place. He's creeping up on Josh Johnson there in 3rd place in that 57 Chevrolet. And everyone's just pretty single file, pretty chill until you get back to 10th or 11th. And Brian Bliss and Brandon Elder, I think Brandon just got a little bit looser in turn number 4. He's going to file back behind Brian Bliss. And you got the 67, 89, and 14 all 2 file trying to figure out what they want to do for 12th and 13th.
Yeah, and kind of as we were, on the nerd enhancing there, I was looking back through the field there, see what's going on, and Tony Solari, had a little trouble coming off of 4 on lap 15, and then coming on laps, when he got on lap 16, he got loose coming off of 2 and just put it down to the inside wall, got up on 2 tires there. Definitely hard damage. That's going to put him back in 25th right now. So his car's beat up on both sides from that impact. So that's unfortunate for Tony. He had such a great start to the season. It's just a string of bad luck these last couple of races.
Yeah, I just went back and looked at it, as you mentioned. I actually did not catch that. He got heavy loose there and nailed the inside wall. So yeah, significant damage to that front and rear of that 11 Ford Mustang. He's definitely limping. He's definitely off the pace. His last lap was a 33.2, and he started this race with a 31.2. So he's 2 seconds off the pace from his lap number one speed. So huge damage, and he has not pitted. So he's just going to be losing time and time as long as he stays on track here without any repairs.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be coming in as well, and he's just kind of letting it go around. So as we see right here on Nerd TV, this is going to be him. Looks like coming off at 2 here. You're going to see him just kind of get a little step out on him. There goes the back end, and watch this thing just get on 2 wheels. Whew.
Yeah, heavy impact. I'm surprised that thing's even drivable after going on 2 wheels. These composite bodies, though, on these next-gen cars are pretty durable. And not so much on like the rear transaxle, so to speak, but the at least the car body itself is pretty durable. And for it only being 2 seconds off after that kind of impact, it actually kind of surprises me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's a good thing that wall was there because that definitely saved him from going over top of it. But these cars, it's like you said, other than the rear end, these things can take a hit and keep on ticking. So maybe we'll get some repairs on it if we get some cautions. But we know here, Full Throttle Sim Racing, there's not too many of those. So he's just got to figure out new strategy for tonight. But kind of looking back through the field, we got Richie Coy still leading the way. Last lap around, he was about 7/10 ahead of the field, and then behind him, you got Josh Johnson. Not too far, but about the same distance away from him. You got this little pack here of 5 cars that are keeping it nice and tight. Chuck's, made his way up to the top 3 now, so we see Chuck Sweeting now into the top 3 after a good string of runs. He's back up there, Jeremy.
Yeah, and Brian Dublé, who is on the opposite end of that coin, falls back to 6th place as Superman Matty Watkins takes him over the high side of turn number 1, dropped back to 6th, and then his teammate Ryan Hedrick, points leader, is going to be lurking here into turn number 3, gets right to the back bumper, does not try for the pass attempt this time around, but looks like the 37's midway through this run and having a little bit of troubles.
Yeah, he I don't know if he pushed a little bit too hard there at the start or what, but he's definitely fell back. Not too fast, but I mean, he's about to tick around to about 7th place here once Ryan gets around him. But as you see Ryan there, he's going to be running 6th place. That's kind of been him all season, running top 10, later part of the top 10 there most of the race, and then once it starts coming down to the last 20 or 30 laps, you see him creep up in top 5 and even got himself a win. So Mr. Consistency is why he's leading the points this year.
Yeah, consistency is huge, especially when there's no playoffs. Like, you need to be up there. A lot of people aren't used to that. NASCAR, it's always been chase and playoffs and points reset. Not this time, not for these guys. You got to get everything every single race. So being consistently up in the top 5, top 10 even sometimes is going to be your best friend. Can't have any off weeks. And especially with these guys like Richie Coy and Chuck Sweeting and Wayne Grassley, Matty Watkins up here. You got to be up here. You got to contend. This is a little bit of a one-off there with Casey McMullen and Brody Hanna not here, or at least Casey not really up at the front, really, but Brody Hanna not here, and so they got a little bit of a off day, so to speak, and try to gain maximum points. But other than that, it's you got to be here and you got to contend. And these setups look like for the most part they're pretty dialed in.
Yeah, and you were speaking of Casey not being up front. I've been watching him here as you were talking, as we got him here on Nerd TV right now. He's been battling Brian Bliss, trying to take that 12th spot here for the last 3 or 4 laps, and like we were saying earlier, side-by-side racing is going to kind of eat up those tires a little bit. And these guys behind him, Shane, Brandon, Sherwood, they've all closed that gap on him. He's going to finally get around Brian Bliss, and I'm sure he's going to love that because he's going to have a little bit of room now. But you see on the bottom side, here comes Shane trying to make that pass on the inside. So Casey's making his way up. He's gained 6 spots, but he's fighting people off whether they're in front of him or behind him.
And Papala on some new colors. Haven't seen him in purple. I think we're used to seeing him in green, if I'm not mistaken. And he's making a charge. He started 20th. He's now starting, I think, in 13th after he gets around Brian Bliss here on the exit of turn number 4. So he's up 7 spots since the drop of the green flag, 28 laps ago, for that matter. And Brian Bliss, one of those
pit road.
Tony Solari, pit road. That's the first guy to come down pit road. Now, I will say, his game plan going in tonight was, just try to keep this thing good. And obviously with that damage, he just had to succumb to, that car being super slow. He's got a lot of repairs. He didn't get the meatball flag, surprisingly enough. But I'm sure there's a lot of optional damage he wants to get done to that thing, as he was about 2 seconds slow. And this is not what he was forecasting tonight.
No, it definitely wasn't on his plan. It's unfortunate, and like I said, I mean, just 2 seconds a lap is just so much to lose, and you're gonna have to come down eventually. Like I said, didn't get the meatball, but he definitely, I mean, that was a hard hit on the inside. He got a little bit on the outside, but the inside is where the majority of that hit was. So you're gonna have to come down sooner or later. Why lose more time than you have to? Another one I see that's kind of looks like he's got a little bit of damage. He's sitting in 24th. Gil Gock. We're not seeing him at the front today. He's got a little bit of damage on that outside right fender there, so he's gotten to the wall and he's getting loose off the corners too. So looks like he's having an ill-handling race car as well tonight. So unfortunate for Gil and Tony on their luck this evening.
I didn't see that incident either, and going back and trying to click through and find it, I don't know where that could have happened, but that's unfortunate for him because he's been doing pretty well. You see right there, a good shot there to the right door panel with that free-floating camera presented by Dustin here. Excellent job here, catching that outside of that wall there on the backstretch. But as you went to the corner, you could definitely see that damage. Heavy contact from whatever incident he did occur. We did not catch that. But no, one of those guys that has been doing better and better and just keeping up. And this is going to be a huge setback for him in the points.
Brian Dubois almost lost it there off of 2. He had to check up a little bit, collected, only lost 1 spot to the 14 of Wayne Allen, but he definitely saved it there. So that was a good little save on his half. I was kind of back through the field. Wasn't too bad, but just enough to kind of upset his car a little bit.
He almost mimicked Tony Solari on that turn 2, which I found to be treacherous as well in that Xfinity race I did on Thursday. And it looks like turn 2 is not going to be anyone's friends here tonight, at least from the opening laps. And you're going to see it right here. Gets to turn 2, the track gets flat, and the car just says nope. But good catch. Good catch by Brian Dubois, and I'm glad he didn't, duplicate what Solari did.
Yeah, no, definitely don't want. I mean, that'd be unfortunate starting on the pole and having that mishap, but you can just see the tire wears coming in effect. Richie Coy's out there, 1.2 seconds ahead of second place, and then right behind him you got Chuck, Josh, Wayne, and Ryan all kind of right there. Ryan was trying to make a pass for 4th, couldn't quite pull it off, but he's close on Wayne. So those two are kind of going back at it, but 2nd through 5th place here is fighting it out with Super Matty Watkins sitting right there behind him, and 6 just seeing how this is going to unfold.
Yeah, Matty Watkins has done a great job going from 13th to 6th. I'm sure those tires are not in the best condition he would like, but if he can get Wayne Grassi and Ryan Hedrick here to start battling out as he gets to the left quarter panel to Josh Johnson even, if they get racy, that's going to bring Watkins in here for a potential 2 or 3 car pass before these guys dip down to pit road, which I was hearing. I'm going to make a bold prediction. I say it as bold just because I'm terrible at calling these. But I'm saying around lap between 55 and 60, we're going to see fuel mileage be fully stretched out. But these tires, with how they fall off so quick at Atlanta, they might come down around lap 50.
Yeah, see if we see anyone on the short pit. And kind of as we see on Nerd TV here, Wayne Grassi has been being a little blinky. And, as a driver that's sitting behind him, that's, you're kind of holding your line and hoping that he's still going to reappear there and not have any issues and blink into you. But looks like he's might have got it under control, but there for a lap or 2, he was definitely blinking through the way. And, Ryan's probably not giving it his all because he doesn't know where he's going to pop up. But Ryan's got a nice little run here on the high side. Let's see if he's going to take that momentum on the inside, if he's going to fall down. Yep, he's looking, but no, he's not going to take it. He's going to still sit there on the high side. Probably just kind of wetting those tires well, as you said. But look at them all right there, sitting there. Four in a row there, all from Wayne back to Matty, within a car length of each other.
Yeah, it's pretty respectful driving by Ryan Hedrick. He could have easily went down to the bottom and forced the issue on Wayne Grassi, and we've seen him do it with Brian Dubois before he got loose and head further back into the pack. But Ryan's been very patient, sucking up to these guys' bumpers in turn 3, and could have easily made that dive, but he kind of lets the cars in front of him come to him, and then he just passes them as needed. So very, very low-key style of driving, but very respectful and keeping good care of his tires also. So he's got about 10, 15 laps possibly before these guys finally start dipping down. So there's still some racing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they're, like you said, lap 50 could be some pits. I think we're going to see that soon because I look back to see where Brian Dubois actually, fell back to with that incident. And as soon as I flipped back to him, he kind of hit the wall coming. Ooh, Brian Bliss there saving it off of two. As you see on pit road here, Nerd TV. We got a first taker, Brian Elder there. But he ended up hitting the wall there coming off of two. Brian Dubois did. And then as I'm watching them still, Brian Bliss is coming loose off of two. So I would imagine seeing some of these guys coming down earlier than later to get these new tires because they're definitely on ice skates right now.
Yeah, if it was anything like my car I was driving on Thursday, they are all over ice. Brian Dubois, 8.7 seconds back. 8.7. He was your race leader about 15, 20 laps ago. Almost 10 seconds back now of Richie Coy, who has just been on a tear after taking that top spot away from Brian. And that's one of those guys where he shifted to the top, and we know with iRacing, got a little bit more grip on that upper lane, so it's making that car a little more comfortable. That's where I kind of forced my car on Thursday when it was really loose, is there's just a little bit extra grip on that top half of that track. So it kind of keeps that car a little more stable, and that tells me that the bottom half of that track is just undrivable for him right now.
Yeah, as we see the 6 car, James Torrey, he's coming off a pit road right now, so he first one that's actually making a pit stop because it looks like Brian Elder's getting repairs as well. So I think this is going to be our first official green flag pit stop here by James Torrey. So he's getting back up to speed coming on pit road. So we'll see how many more we have coming down as well. But yeah, Chuck Sweeting, he's actually gained a little bit on Richie Coy. He's only 0.8 back now. He was 1.2 seconds back. So he's slowly making some gains on him before we start seeing these rounds of pit stops.
I've been really impressed with how Chuck's been doing. Each and every week, just getting slightly better and better and better, and his qualifying's been putting him in a great position to do some great things during the race. And yeah, he's actually getting a little bit of help here from that 6 machine of James Torrey as he came off of pit road. It checked up Mr. Richie Coy just a little bit, and that dropped that lead down to just under half a second.
Yeah, you could see that run that he had off of 4 there, and with the little help of the 6 car. Not helping Richie very much, but helped Chuck. You saw that gap that he gained on him, but Richie kind of pulled it back on him again. So we'll see what the distance is when they come across the start-finish line here. Probably going to be about the same. It doesn't look like he gained too much time on him. Richie gained a little bit of time there. So as we're heading off in the turn 1 and 2, you see Richie still maintaining that lead, and right behind him though, we got a battle here for 4th place. Looks like we have Matty Watkins there going on the inside of Josh Johnson. So he's losing a spot there as he falls back, and Matty's going to move into 4th place.
Pretty entertaining group of cars here, yeah, from third on back, really. You see the 57, Josh Johnson tried to make a good run there on the top, or middle groove rather, and had to stab on the brake a little bit because he knew he was going to overdrive turn 4 and try not to eat up those tires for what's little bits left of them anyways. And I'm really surprised to see Matty Watkins run that lower lane. You see almost everybody else running that upper lane, as you saw in the real world NASCAR race, even though it's a different style track now. But that upper groove in Atlanta, even on the old surface, typically the high side is the way to go. But Matty, he played by his own rules apparently, and it looks like Josh Mayhew's 02 is trying to come down pit road this time.
Yeah, see that Josh Mayhew's going to be making his green flag pit stop, and one that we saw there on. Is he going to make it?
Oh no, he does not. That's going to be
a commitment cone.
That's going to be huge. That's a pit penalty there. I think that's going to be a hold. I do believe for 30 seconds for an unsafe pit entrance. We will find out after he gets those tire changed whether or not that car is released or not. But I think that's going to be at least a 30-second hold in his pit stop. Well, that's just under a whole lap around this racetrack.
And did he overshoot? Nope, he's in there. Yeah, you can see he's coming in just a little hot there. And right behind him, the one of Kevin Rupert is coming down pit road as well. Yeah, you could tell just carrying down that momentum. Let's see if they're going to hold him here on pit road or not. It looks like they are, because he is not going, as Kevin is going to go on by him. So I think you're correct, Jeremy. I think he's going to get about a 30-second penalty there. So that's unfortunate for Josh Mayhew. But as kind of looking back to the front of the field, Chuck Sweeting's trying to close in that gap on him here as they caught the 85 of Gil Gawk. He didn't slow him up too much, but Chuck is gaining on him. And as we were talking earlier before we were coming on pit road, Wayne Allen just, starts in the back, moves up to the field. Top 5 now for him. And then we see James Wallace is moving closer too. So Boomerang Motorsports, they lost one in Brian in the top 10, but they gained another one with James.
You saw Chad Lang on pit road as well. So we got about 5 or 6 guys that have taken their pit stops at this point. And yeah, Chuck Sweeting, he's there. He is looking, and Richie Coy rather, is running the bottom half of the track. I think he's found a little bit something there, but Chuck's just getting these excellent runs. And these guys have actually broken out to a 3.5-second lead over third place, which right now is Lane Grassy. Just this late run domination by these two guys in the 19 and the 75, just on a complete different zip code.
And that's what we've been seeing with Richie Coy this season. I mean, if he's not been in a wreck or anything like that, he's been up front, and he's been up front by a lot. Sometimes he has a dancing partner with him, like he does tonight with Chuck, and sometimes he's just out there in his own world. But we've seen that he's really good on these long runs with this car setup. But Chuck is getting right on that back bumper. He's got to run as they're heading down the one and two, and Chuck's looking to pull it off. But you see Richie, like you said, is kind of sticking to that bottom, found a little bit of speed down there. But Chuck's going to get that run on the high side coming off of two.
He gave up a lot of ground there.
We got a wreck in the back. He saved it. Looks like the 4. Sorry to cut you off there. Looks like the 4 of Chad Lang, I believe. Almost spun it in front of traffic. That would have been. It might not have been the 4. Let's see. We got here on Nerd TV.
It was the 4.
It was the 4. Okay. Woo, that was close. That could have been a big wreck there in front of the about that top 5 there.
He might have a tire cut or something too, because he's not coming back onto the racing surface. He's kind of hugging the apron there, and he is coming back down pit road. So there's something a little more going on with Chad Lang's cars. He just pitted like 3 laps prior. You see it right there. Just turn 2, strikes again. Thankfully, he did not overcorrect and go up the racetrack further than what he did, because that could have been huge.
Yeah, right in front of that lead pack. That would have been tragic. But back into the lead, looks like we're going to have Chuck Sweeting here. He might be completing the pass on Richie Coy. I believe he did pull it off. So we're going to have a new leader here after 50 laps completed. Chuck Sweeting's going to be, we're at 51 laps completed. Chuck Sweeting's going to be taking the top spot away from Richie Coy as Lane Allen now moves into that 3rd position.
Saw that huge hand movement there by Chad Lang, who took away our attention momentarily from that lead change. You saw Chuck Sweeting right before we switched up the cameras there. It's Chad that he gave up so much ground entering turn number 1. He was right to the bumper. Richie Coy probably gave up 0.3 of a second just entering the corner, but that exit speed launched him so far into turn number 3. I was able to clear Richie Coy, getting to the finish line.
Yeah, and Richie's fighting back, though. He's not, I mean, you can see him closing up. He's not wanting to give up that top spot too easily now as we're coming up, we're on lap 52. Sorry, lap 53, 52 laps completed. So we've already got a couple. Looks like the 85 of Gil Gock's going to be coming in here to pit road. I believe the 14's just sitting behind him. But yeah, Gil Gock's coming on pit road. We got the 91 of Kenneth Schultz on pit road as well, as we see on Nerd TV. So these leaders should be coming down, I'd say, within the next 5 laps or so. Jeremy, what'd you say?
Yeah, at this point, you want to. It's so tempting to get those fresh tires, especially with how ill handling these cars are going on the long run. And these guys have to have a huge lead. They have a little bit of that insurance to stay out a few extra laps to try to extend their run. Got 163 laps in this thing. We see Matty Watkins actually just keyed up. He is coming down pit road this time. He is currently sitting in 7th place or 8th place right now. So it's gonna be one of your front runners coming down pit road. Makes that entrance right there. Really smooth entrance. 2 speed at the line. That was textbook style there. We see him right behind. I got a follower here of Sherwood Williford there in that 33 Chevrolet. I think we got to see the Chick-fil-A car as well. Jeff Bratton also coming down pit road. So more and more people taking that shot at pit road.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy place here. But back, as we see here on Nerd TV, back to the leaders. We also hear the 47 of Ryan Hedrick, your championship points leaders, coming in on pit road right now.
He missed it.
Oh no, that is not good for him.
Oh, he made the dive and got too hard on the brakes. Or not too hard, but too late on him, rather, and just did not make it. He lost to like 3 or 4 spots, slowed up to about just over 100 miles an hour, and had to get back on the gas because he overshot it. That's huge.
As he keys up, he's going to try this one again. He's coming back down pit road, as we see here on their TV. Coming with a little bit too much speed, and yep, don't even chance it. Just put it back in, drop it in gear, and get going. That's unfortunate for him, and that's going to put 5.2 seconds, Jeremy, that these 2 cars, Chuck and Richie, have put on 3rd place. So that cushion that they have is just growing and growing. And I mean, that's just an amazing run that they have there. And as we see on their team, we got Ryan Hedrick here. So He's back on pit road. Hopefully he doesn't have any speeding penalties or anything like that because he's already lost a ton of time, missing pit road.
Yeah, he locked him up, but looks like he got down right to pit road speed as he crossed the line. If not, it was just a hair or a mile an hour or two over. I don't think he's going to get flagged for that. I've entered in at faster speeds, but it was really close. He did lock him up, got down there just in the nick of time. Probably avoided the iRacing flag, thankfully, but he needed to maximize that stop because of that mishap entering on the very lap before. At this point, you gotta make up that ground, and that's one way to do it is getting on the pit road as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much time that he lost there by missing pit road that he's going to try and gain it as much as he can wherever he can. And now I'm just kind of looking at these two guys in the front here, Chuck and Richie, to see when they're going to pit, because you see Kenneth Schultz and Brian Dubois with the as we hear right now, Chuck Sweeting, the 75, actually is going to be coming in. Richie Coy, I bet he wants to come in right now, but with these cars all around him, I think he's going to stay out one more lap. So we see, here comes Chuck Sweeting, and Richie Coy's going to go around. I wouldn't be surprised to see Richie come in next.
Oh my, that is way too hot. He just got down to pit road, about 6 stalls entering pit road. That is too fast. He will get the black flag speeding penalty. He will be doing a drive-through penalty when this stop is completed.
I think I got him at 75 miles an hour coming in. We'll have to check that and see, but I believe as I was checking on him, I think he's definitely coming in too hot, as you see, and he saved it too, because that could have been a little extra added to it. But that's going to hit him for a penalty. So we'll see where he comes out after all this, and see. I'm going to kind of look back, and Richie Coy's still out here on running laps, so he's going to see how long he can take these tires out.
Just threw it in there sideways entering pit road, and it's just way too hot, Mr. Sweeting. It'll be a drive-through for you, and I think Richie's got that news by now. And if he does, I'm sure he is smiling from ear to ear because of what position he's put himself in with that dominant car. And now he's got no one to worry about, really, as long as he nails his stop just fine. Yep, he is coming down this time. Let's see if he can make that clean. It's actually a very conservative entrance and down to speed, perfect.
Yeah,
textbook style as well, and gonna hit it on the marks.
He hit it perfect. You got James Wallace coming in behind him. The 57 Josh Johnson's going to be also coming in. So you got those top leaders. They saw Richie coming in, and they all jumped down with him. So they're going to try and keep on the same pace as Richie Coy here. But Richie had a great stop, like you said, came in perfect. He hit his pit box excellent. So he's trying to just tear away with this lead a little bit more, as we see Casey McMullen's also going to be hitting pit road here soon.
Yeah, he's calling the shots, wanting his pit crew ready this time by. 71 should be dipping down right now. We got him on TV for you. A nice, easy transition onto the apron and down to speed. Probably a little conservative, but no problem. It's better than being on the flip of that coin. It's going to come down to hit his marks as well. Take it back to Chuck Sweeting. I think he's already served his penalty. He's currently sitting 2 laps down. So once everything cycles through, he'll probably be 1 lap down, I would imagine. But you can see that little mistake's going to put you a whole lap down.
Yeah, it is. And Richie came out just behind Wayne Grassi and Shane Papala there, with Matty Watkins right behind him. So once they cycle through, I think that's going to put Shane out in front, I do believe. And I believe he's already made his pit stop run. Could be mistaken, but I believe him and Wayne have already made it. But we got Richie right there behind him, so he'll have a little bit faster tires. But he's making a run here on Wayne. He's trying to go back for that second spot. Richie Coy is. Oh no, they're all lap down. I'm sorry, I'm looking here.
Yeah.
See, four on the lead lap there. So yeah, they haven't made their pit stop yet. My bad.
I was gonna say Shane Papala is 1.2 seconds slower than his first and second laps of the race. So he's definitely showing that speed difference for us, really. As you see Richie Coy, when this thing gets all said and done, he will be your new leader. But yeah, he just clears Shane Papala, clear as day, the speed difference that old tires versus new tires have. And Shane Papala is on lap 65 without a single pit stop yet. There's 163 laps in this race, so not sure when he plans to come on down. I don't hear any verbiage yet. Actually, he's slowing on the brakes now, so we got him perfect for you. He makes his transition onto the apron, down to speed just fine, and he's going to bring Wayne Grassi with him.
Yeah, they were kind of throwing me off there as they were in turn 1, 2. I was like, well, they don't look like they're any faster. And then next thing you know, there he came. And, right as I'm talking about it, I just look at the scoreboard and see what's going on. But I think when that all said and done, Richie Coy might cycle back through to be the lead once everyone has the pit stops. But Shane Papala hits this pit stop perfect as they're fill him up with fuel and 4 fresh tires. So he'll be back on the track and see where he kind of cycles through.
I was going to say Matty Watkins is going to be cycling back to second place after this is done. He had an excellent pit stop. He actually got loose off of turn number 4, slowed him up a little bit as we see more cars coming down pit road here in that Yingling Ford Mustang. And I'm really surprised I see Matty Watkins taking over second place. He must have nailed his stop to the T. I know he pitted, 5 laps or so before Richie. So Richie's definitely got the better tires, and I would imagine he will pull away. But Matty Watkins doing some good things right now.
Yeah, Super Matty Watkins is definitely showing his muscle, and he's been, having some great runs here this season as well. So, he's kind of just following suit right in with that. He did have a disappointing 16th finish last week, but he was having top 10. The week before that, Vegas was 7th. So he's been solid all season. Still looking to get up there in that top 5. Hasn't got a top 5 finish yet, but he's still sitting 10th in points. So solid season so far.
Yeah, overall, doing pretty all right. Doing what you got to do to try to give yourself any type of contention, and if I can keep that up, he might be there to have a shot at the end. But
look at this lead that Richie has. He's got the fastest car on the track, and after pit cycles, he's back to a 2.3 second lead with some of the freshest tires on the track.
Yeah, actually, that lead was Richie was 0.355, almost dumps it off of turn number 2. That would have been the third time we saw someone nearly wreck the thing. As he goes back up to the top of the track, that car is probably feeling pretty loose. Those rear tires are really heated up. But yeah, Richie Coy's another 0.2 faster over second place Matty Watkins this time, and you could just see the speed difference, even with the little amount of tire wear difference they have between the two cars. Yeah,
they got that car tuned in very well tonight, and with him, it's he doesn't have his teammate Brody with him tonight, and then his other teammate Tony had some early issues with his car, so he's just kind of out there by himself, the only Fury Motorsports car really in this race. So, but hey, he found the setup for this race, and he's showing it off as he's almost putting about 3-second lead here as we come around. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes it 3 seconds.
Yeah, and as they start doing that, we're actually going to take our commercial break. We're going to kick it side by side for everyone so you can see everything that happens on the racetrack as we do, and get a shout out to all of our sponsors. So we'll be back with you guys in just a short bit. All right, guys, welcome back to the Full Throttle Sim Racing action on Nerd TV. During commercial break, Casey McMullen, Ryan Hedrick, James Wallace, they're all kind of a tight-knit pack here for third, fourth, and fifth, kind of duking it out.
Yeah, they pushed Matty Watkins back there and pushed him in the 5th spot. And two teammates of James Wallace and Ryan Hedrick were trying to team up on Casey McMullen, but Casey McMullen's definitely showing the muscle. But you see right there, Ryan Hedrick, we said he's consistent, Mr. Consistency, sitting there running in second place right now. But there's still 5 seconds, Jeremy. 5 seconds off of Richie Coy. He is on a rail right now. That car is bad fast.
Since Chuck Sweeting's mishap, it's been the Richie Coy show for sure. See Ryan Hedrick actually trying to run my kind of line around Atlanta up against that wall as close as she can. At least 1 and 2 anyways he did so. And it did okay for him, but looks like Casey McMullen's car is just on a rail, taking over his spot in third place. Or is that second? That's second place, actually. So, new contender for Richie Coy, but Ryan Hedrick's really strong there in the bottom. Let's see if he kind of does that respectful thing like he's been doing. Yep, he just kind of lets Casey McMullen have that spot there in second as he just follows suit.
Yeah, and kind of looking at the lap times here, you have Chuck Sweeting, who's a whole 10th ahead of, quicker than Richie Coy is, but it doesn't do any good when you're setting a lap down, so he needs to have a caution come out to kind of get that lap back, because we know he's not going to get it back any other way. But he is faster than him out on the track right now, but again, just won't do any good. But yeah, as you see, Casey takes over that spot, so he's kind of setting his little sights on Richie and not really gaining any time on him, so he's kind of fighting for second right now, but definitely pulling a little bit on Ryan. And as you see, James Wallace looks like he's going to take that third position away from his teammate Ryan Hedrick.
Yeah, he does. Hedrick just looks like he's just a little bit slower. I don't know if that's by tire wear or if, the sun did dip down behind the clouds there for a little bit, so it kind of cooled off the racing surface by a couple degrees, so that kind of changes up your car setup. It looks like I might have been playing to Casey McMullen's advantage. He actually gained 3/10 over Richie Coy that last lap alone. So Casey's found something there, but the sun has come back out from behind the clouds, so that kind of might change things back up into Richie's favor.
Yeah, and the worst thing that could have happened to Chuck Sweeting just happened to Chuck Sweeting. He actually just got Brian Dugley got put a lap down, so Chuck needs to get around him. We see Brian right in front of Chuck here, so Chuck might actually he might get a twofer, because like I said, he is faster than Richie, so he needs to get around Brian there to take that first lap down spot away, and he might even get up to Richie and get his own lap back. So if he can do that and get back on the lead lap and catch some luck with the late caution, that'll put him back on the lead lap, and I'm sure he'll look forward to that. But if Brian's out in front of him, he's not looking too happy with that lucky dog.
Yeah, it won't be for a matter of another 5 seconds here, as there's an 0.8 of a second difference that last lap between the two. Clearly there's a tire disadvantage for Brian Dublé. Chuck Sweeting takes back the top spot for the lucky dog contention. If there were to be a yellow right now, it would be his. But right now, Matthew Geringer's, he's just a few seconds away from Richie Coy. They're both currently on the front stretch, so it's to that point to where Chuck Sweeting's got to dig, because these guys are going to start falling every 5 or so laps. There's going to be a new guy up for the lucky dog contention.
Yeah, he definitely needs to stay on pace and catch up to Richie there. And when he goes around someone, Chuck's right there to go around with him. So, his car's fast. He's still got the fast car. But as we see, Brian came down a little bit sooner too. We saw his tires were wearing a little bit quicker than others. So, Chuck has some fresher tires, so he went around Brian with ease. But he's going to definitely have to keep it up with Richie, as we see right here. Casey McMullen's looking to get around, looks like James Wallace here for that second spot. So they're still battling out these 3 cars right here for that second position.
Yeah, James and Casey are actually battling. James just made a pass on Casey that last lap, and they're still gaining on Richie Coy, so they got something going for them. They're 4.5 back. So we first talked about Richie Coy about 5 or 6 laps ago, and they've gained almost a second. So they've got some little charge going on, and we're just past halfway at this race. We're on lap now 87 of your total of 163 laps, and it's a pretty decent battle for second and third.
Yeah, sorry, I oohed there on your thing. We had, as we see right here, Shane Papalo actually went through the infield grass there coming off of 4, so Got a little loose, but saved it, collected it back up, and no harm, no foul. Just lost a couple spots. Um, but yeah, I think that battle up there at the front, between Casey and James has been a good one. They've kind of been going with each other through the field all day. Started 18th and 17th, and now sitting second and third. So as we see here on Nerd TV, what I saw here coming off of 4, just a little whoop. Just gonna mow the yard a little bit real quick. Don't mind me coming through. Thank you. Lost 3 spots, no big deal. Keep it moving.
Now, if you remember from the Xfinity race last year, Josh Berry just absolutely destroyed that section of the grass, and good thing iRacing does not have a splitter that digs into the virtual dirt, or else you would have seen that very same thing. So, thankfully, in his favor, he was able just to ramp it, drive off, and continue. He did lose the top 5. He did fall back to 7th place, so only 2 spots lost. And it was through the grass, so it wasn't any tire wear issues, but that just shows that his car is getting loose, and that's really the first kind of thing we saw off of turn number 4 as far as looseness goes. So as this track wears in, looks like cars are just getting a little more loose and loose overall.
Yeah, you see a little bit more of them into the wall on the outside wall, and not so much kind of coming down, but that one kind of got them there, so something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I'm looking through the field just to see what's going on, and we've got a lot of people single filed out. Fell back. Looks like Maddie's back into, I believe, 7th place now after he was sitting up there in 2nd position after the cycle through of the green flag pit stop. So Shane right there is in front of him. And then Wayne Wayne Grassy, he was up, top 5 there after the pit cycle, and now he's bumped back to 8th position. But that group there from 9th, 8th, and 7th, they're all kind of within a second of each other, but then they have a 5-second differential back behind them with Josh Johnson. He's in 9th, so it's 8th, 7th, and 6th kind of right there with each other. But they got a little gap between those two. So top 10 right behind him, Kevin Rupert, sitting 16 seconds back behind our leaders right now.
What I've just noticed is Chuck Sweeting has done the digging, and he has passed Richie Coy to get back his lap. He is currently on the lead lap. Richie Coy trying to get it back from him because he knows that's that guy. If there's a caution right now, he's going to have to deal with him later on this race. So he is not letting up from Chuck Sweeting. You see Richie Coy just running pretty strong there in the bottom of 1 and 2. This is kind of what we saw before, the round of pit stops and everything happened. Just Chuck Sweeting can just dig a little bit harder on that top and gets that huge run right there off the back stretch. You see him just gain a little bit. Thankfully, Richie Coy has that draft to kind of keep him in the clutches. But right now, Chuck Sweeting's put himself in a good spot if there is a caution.
Yeah, he definitely did. Like you said, Richie's not going to fight because he knows this is the car that's going to give him the most fits. I mean, after the run that we saw there in the green flag. But Richie car, it's kind of slowing up. I mean, he's lost 2 seconds on James Wallace and Casey McMullen, and that's with those guys going at it. So it's interesting to see if Richie maybe was just saving a little bit or if he's kind of backed off. I'm going to say he's just, probably just overall the run here because him and Chuck are going at it and they really haven't lost anything. So we'll see what happens. But that group behind him, Jeremy, those three cars there of James Wallace, Casey McMullen, and Ryan Hedrick are closing in on Richie Coy.
Yeah, my money is that Richie's just he's doing 100% because he wants to get around Chuck Sweeting to put him back 1 lap down. So he's not really holding back. And then, James Wallace is now under 3 seconds away from Richie, which, about 15 laps ago, they were 4.5 to 5 seconds back. So they've almost half their total number that they were back since we kicked back from commercial break. And it's kind of, they got about another 20 laps or so before the tires have to be changed and get the tanks refilled for potentially the last stop of the race. But at this rate, if they go that full distance on fuel, we might see a new leader before everyone takes down for pit road. Yeah,
Richie's trying, though. He's trying to get that inside run sitting there, but he's just going to fall right back in line here on the backstretch. As we see a car duck down low on the backstretch there. It looks like maybe he just got a little loose off of 2. That's going to put Casey McMullen. It looks like James Wallace that actually got loose there off of 2 and let Casey go by him. But Richie, I think, has about 3 laps fresher tires than Chuck because Chuck came down a little bit sooner than him. Even had that mishap, but I think Richie's only got about 3 laps fresher tires, so not too much. As we see here on their TV, Casey McMullen's in that second spot there with James Walsh right behind him. His teammate Ryan Hedrick sitting there in 4th.
Yeah, it looks like that's like the second time that James Wallace has gotten loose off the exit of turn number 2, so he's been struggling that thing, and he actually hit a bump that kind of kicked his car sideways, but Case McMullen and Wallace have actually lost a tenth on your leader, so we might see that transition in power there, where Richie's back to running the faster lap times. Later in that green flag run, we saw Richie. That's where he dominated everybody to get that huge lead originally. And so we might start and see that teeter-totter kind of lean to the other way, and that long run happens, and Richie's going to be there. And he's not really like being held up by Chuck Sweeney either. I mean, he's there, but he's actually getting some draft as well. So this actually might be playing in the favor of Richie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, is he might be playing this to advantage. He might be pushing it a little bit more just because he's racing up there with Chuck, and they've been kind of going at it all day and wanting to get that lap, put Chuck back a lap down. So he's pushing a little bit harder. But yeah, later in the run, we did see Richie's car definitely take off a little bit better than others, as these two were battling it out for that. So Richie's he knows the fastest car than him on the track, and that's the one right in front of him. You don't normally see a car that's on the end of the lead lap here that you would think, oh, he's about to go a lap down, would be competing like he is. But with Chuck having that speeding penalty on pit road, these roles could be reversed. It could be battling for first right now instead of trying to stay on the lead lap.
I'm sure that's in the back of Chuck Sweeting's head, is what could be right now. But I know he's begging for a caution, if anything, in that cockpit, minus looking through that digital rearview mirror at that bright yellow D-Walt Ford. And yeah, it looks like Casey McMullen did drop another 10th back from that last lap too. So even though James and Casey are, they're not running against each other. I think right now they're running, just to log laps and get somewhere. But they're pretty stagnant on your leader. Ryan Hedrick there in fourth. He's kind of hanging back. He's not really falling away, but he's not right up to the bumper. So he's trying to at least stay in that draft, so to speak, at least down the straightaways. The only real battle here is Sherwood Williford and Wayne Grassy for looks like 5th and 6th place, as Wayne does take over the 33 there on the bottom of the track, which I have not seen this many cars run the bottom this weekend. It's kind of a little bit of change of role for me.
Yeah, I was looking back at this battle myself and was watching Wayne kind of come up on Sherwood there as we just hit lap 100. So we're on lap 101, 63 laps to go. Richie likes riding that low side as well. So I've been watching Richie trying, here with Chuck, and it kind of seems like he's just content with riding, because with everybody being spread out like this, unless we see someone get loose off of one of these corners and spin it out enough for iRacing to throw a caution, it might just be keeping going green flags. So Richie could just be riding along here right behind Chuck, just waiting for that green flag. Pit stops to start cycling through, because we are on lap 102, and we know early pit stops are just about lap 52, lap 53. So we should see those here within the next 10 laps.
Yeah, it'll be your last green flag stop. Once finally someone does take that dip down pit road, and Ryan Hedrick's actually kind of gained some ground over James Wallace and Case McMullen. He's making a little bit of a charge here, getting that high line a little more gripped up. Second to third groove, that is. And you see Case McMullen does that diamond, so to speak, in the corner. He really chucks up in the center, and then it's a good, solid launch there, really, off of turn number 2. But they are still hanging in there right at 3 seconds behind Richie.
Yeah, and as I was looking, on lap 102, and Brian Bliss, I was thinking, unless we have someone spinning out, he got loose there in the middle of 1 and 2, and then he kind of kept it through all the way off of 2. And honestly, I thought he was going to spin it out, but he did a good job keeping it off the inside wall and not bringing it up inside the track there in the backstretch, and got back going. That was a close call, though. I was just saying, just in case we don't have anyone like that, and he almost did it here. So, but we're good. We're green. We're still going along, and that's going to put, actually, Brian's still going to be the first one to lap down, as we see on your TV. Here's what happened.
Just getting crazy loose there, which looked kind of weird, because he was already slowing on the bottom, and then that car just kept getting loose and loose and loose, and he just chased it. Thankfully, once again, excellent driving out there by everyone who's getting loose off of turn 2, especially. They're just not one car has wrecked it, really, except for Tony at the very beginning. They've all been able to kind of keep enough grip in the tires to not hit the wall and not spin up the track. And so excellent job just overall by everybody, which that kind of brings me to my thing I wanted to say about the green flag run. On Thursday, there was no cautions whatsoever. No cautions on I think it was
Chuck
130
Sweeting,
laps.
sorry.
What's going on with Chuck here?
Got a little bit of loose there as he was coming off the turn.
Okay, yeah. So he falls back to 1 lap down now. Pretty decent distance from Richie Coy, and Richie's been matching his lap time, so Chuck now is going to have to hold on to the lucky dog contention, which is still going to work in his favor. He prefers to not utilize that lucky dog, but I'm sure he's going to be trying to get back up there. But that car being a little more loose, he has to play a little bit of a safer driver role to kind of keep that spot. But yeah, there was no cautions in that Xfinity race, and I think there was only 1 or 2, throughout the whole week, really, at Atlanta. So these guys definitely know how to keep a long green flag run, as you've seen all season, especially at Atlanta. Surprisingly, it's one of the more tougher tracks. And 67, James Wallace going to sacrifice 3rd place. He's coming down pit road as the first guy to take the green flag stop.
Yeah, he's looking to make a little strategy here. I think kind of coming in a little early, see if he can get those fresh tires and gain some ground there on him, as he was sitting just about 3 seconds, just under 3 seconds back of Richie Coy there. So a lot better than the first time. I think the first time when they came in the pits, he was about 5 seconds behind. So might have a little bit of an advantage there on that. But kind of looking back through to go back to Chuck on that thing, he lost that spot back to Richie and Kenneth Schultz there, and he's trying to run back Richie Coy here for get back on the lead lap, because that, even though being the lucky dog's nice, but it'd be nice to be back in front of him. But you see him charging hard. He's trying to make ground back up on Richie.
33, Williford also in pit road. He brings along Mr. Superman, Matty Watkins as well. They're going to sacrifice the top 5, 91 pitting. So it looks like we got a lot of takers in a really short amount of time.
Yeah, it's going to get busy here in a second. And like we said, this is the last round of pit stops. Hopefully these are a little bit better than the first ones. We had a couple, speeding penalties and missed a couple pit road there. So, Ryan Hedrick missed pit road, and he's still sitting. He was battling for second there, sitting in 4th place, as he's sitting in 3rd right now. So as we see Wayne Allen, he came in pretty hot there. I wouldn't be surprised if he was speeding on pit road. He was coming in a hurry. But sometimes that, mistake won't hurt you, as we see with Ryan, but sometimes with Chuck Sweeting, it will. So
14, Lane Allen hitting his pit stall. He overshoots the stall. He has to hit the reverse key. He gets back into the stall, but that's going to cost him a couple seconds. And Ryan Hedrick, he missed the stall once again. I was just going to say he doesn't need to do that, and he just did it, but a lot worse. He is really slow on the front stretch. Getting that thing going, almost looked like he flattened the right front tire. We're going to get a replay for you. Huge miss. That's 2 for 2 on missing the green flag stop. And this one's a lot worse. I think his right front actually might be down.
I think it is. I saw it kind of shift some weight, and he almost actually spun it out with that, too, as we see on Nerd TV. He's coming down pit road here and just walks it up, and you watch this right here. Whoop, right there. I think you're right, Jeremy. I think that's when he had this tire go out.
He's just limping around the track, doing a pretty good speed, 135 mile an hour around the track, trying to keep it going. But he, extra conservative this time, gets it down pit road, and that's going to be it for him unless there's another quick caution of some kind to keep him in position. But right now, just tough break. That car is so fast. He is contention for top 3, and that's just going to shift things up.
Yeah, and as we see going by Wayne Allen there on pit road, he actually came on pit road a little fast as well. So fast, missing the pit stall, and looks like they're doing some damage. That's going to put him a few laps down now as we're sitting through laps down. As we see Chuck Sweeting now on pit road, he's going to pass Wayne Allen there. Coming down, see if he can have a clean pit stop. I don't think he was speeding on pit road this time as he's pulling into his pit stall. Nice and clean, not too far, as you see Ryan Hedrick heading out of pit road right now.
It's going to leave about 4 people on the lead lap. Richie Coy, Casey McMullen, Wayne Grassy, and Shane Papala. 4 guys that are left that need to pit. And, Richie Coy kind of in control of this thing. He doesn't need to pit right away. He's just kind of doing his own thing. Casey McMullen, probably going to see him coming down real soon to get any type of advantage over Richie, because right now, right before that first set of green flag stops, your time difference was over a second per lap. So huge there. And I think the 71 is not going to come down this time. I'm sure he's looking real soon, though.
Yeah, and I'm looking here on the scoring sheet, and it looks like Ryan Hedrick's going to lose a lot. It's going to put him the last car 1 lap down I know they're still on their pit cycle, so it's going to be a little different. But you can definitely see he's lost some, positions to Maddie, Josh, Kevin, Matthew, Sherwood, all those. So that's twice now missing pit road. Could be the broadcaster's curse. We just mentioned it, and then he ended up doing it. So unfortunate battle with pit road tonight for Ryan Hedrick there.
I was just going to key up right before he did miss that stall, and I was going to say, well, he doesn't need to do it. And then as the words were starting to come out, that's when he did it. So hopefully there's no curse. I've had that before happen in the past, and I don't want to start that up again. But definitely no luck on his side, and that's so tragic. That car was bad fast, but still waiting on the top four to make their final move down pit road. It looks like everyone's still kind of falling on the track. No one's really calling anything out, so they're going to try to extend it as far as they can.
Yeah, and it's going to put Chuck Sweeting 2 laps down. So once they cycle through, he might still be that 1 lap down before he came in. Now he's going to have faster tires, so he knows he's going to be gaining some speed. Last lap, you had Richie Coy run a 32.44 compared to Chuck running a 31.06. So those fresher tires are definitely going to give him that advantage. So I'm kind of intrigued to see when Richie Coy is going to come down on pit road and make this pit stop. I believe Casey and Wayne and Shane will all kind of follow suit whenever Richie makes the move. But to see where everyone cycles through after these pit stops will be interesting.
Yeah, there's no more green flag stops. Once you come in, it's it. You're done. There's no more pitting unless there's a caution. So to kind of extend the run like this, to shorten that green tire run, if you will, I'm not sure, but I know Richie Coy's car has been so fast, especially on these long runs, that I'm sure he's just, once he gets those tires, he's going to recycle back to lead, I would imagine, no doubt, unless there's something that goes disarray. But I would be screaming to my crew, hey, I'm coming down this time. I want those tires. I want my car to feel good.
Yeah, I would think the same thing as well. James Wallace is the kind of one I'm to keep an eye on. He's the one that's sitting kind of first in the 1 lap down cars. As we see Shane right now on pit road on your TV, he's going to come down and make a stop. Perfect ride. Nope, overshot the pit box a little bit. Thought he went in there perfect, but that's going to cost him a couple seconds. But he put it in reverse pretty quick. But James Wallace, he's running about 31.4, 31.5s right now, so a little bit faster. The tires are starting to kick in just after a couple laps, so you can see those fast speeds ticking off. But he's one to keep an eye on because I think he came in with about just under 3 seconds, like I was saying earlier, on Richie. So, those faster tires might help him gain a couple tenths on him, maybe even a second or so.
Casey McMullen looks like he's been slowly gaining on Richie here. He's only 2.5 back. He was 2.8 or 2.9 for the longest of time. So with that might play a little bit of a sign as to why Casey's extending this run. If he can be a little bit faster than Richie every lap that they stay out, that's only going to help him when they get the fresh set of tires on. Yeah,
and as we see Richie there actually got a little loose coming off at 2, and that's going to put James Wallace around him. So James is going to actually get back on his own lap back here as they're coming around. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Richie, if I was him, like you were saying earlier, I think I might be making a run in, because you can definitely see that his speed is affecting right now as you see these cars with faster tires go around him. You got Chuck there and James Wallace, and then we're going to have Wayne Allen here going on the outside. So I would imagine we're going to see Richie Coy probably coming in this lap.
You see on the ticker there, we're just over 2 seconds back of Coy at this point. He lost 4. Actually, we're going to see that 19 come down pit road to make his final green flag stop. A little conservative on the pit stop, gets down to speed a little early, but make sure it's nice and safe as long as you hit the stop perfectly in your stall. We've seen several people miss the stall, at least overshoot slightly. As long as he gets that done, he should be sitting pretty. I would imagine Casey now is really wanting to come in because he's going to be the only car really to compete with Richie. Richie does hit this stop perfectly. Don't hear anything on the radio. We're going to follow on Nerd TV to see when he comes down. It looks like he will be right now. That makes complete sense to me. Gets down to speed nicely as well. 2 clean stops, or at least entrances. Let's see if Casey can hit his mark as well and get back up there. And I'm kind of curious to see when they come out time-wise and see who's got the lead.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I want to see where cycles through. I also want to see kind of where James Wallace is going to cycle through when this thing's all said and done as well. Um, he's kind of been sitting there running some good laps. We see here on their TV. You got a little bit loose there as they're coming off the turn. I think that was Brian Bush there. The back end kind of stepped out on him. But yeah, James Wallace is actually, after that lap, he's going to be in front of Richie Coy, because when we saw James Wallace pass Richie there. Richie was just getting his left side tires on as James Wallace went around him. So depending on how this run turns out, maybe Richie's hoping for those tires to last him towards the end of the run and catch everyone else back down. But we'll see where he cycles through, of how far back they are.
See Wayne Grassy on Nerd TV as well make his stop. That's the last of the front runners that's going to cycle everyone through. We're going to see exactly how everyone fans out, but right now, take a look back here.
It's going to be James Wallace.
Yeah, it looks like temporarily James Wallace is going to be the guy there. We're going to see as they come through next time by. It looks like Richie, at least on the ticker, is 10 seconds back.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I was watching him, and James was just coming on. I mean, right before he came down pit road, he got his lap back. So he was he was a couple seconds ahead of him as Richie was coming down pit road. So this cycled through pretty well, actually, for James Wallace. I was kind of looking at it to see, and yeah, 10 seconds there on Richie. So we're going to see how these tires play out, though, at the end of the run. See if maybe Richie can gain some time on James with the tire wear as this race kind of wears off. But good call by James here on Richie's strategy.
Yeah, we'll see how this fans out. James is one of the first people to come down, so those tires have been on the track for a little bit longer. That could be a part of that reason. Going through the lap times, James Wallace's last lap 126, was a 31.8. Last lap for Richie Coy, 30.89. So there's a whole second. And actually, lap 126 was Richie Coy's fastest lap of the entire evening. He ran a 31.0 that last time, but he is on a mission.
Man on a mission,
a whole
right
second
there.
faster. So there's a 9-second gap with 36 laps to go. So by that math, he was definitely going to get there. But James has temporarily put himself in a really good position.
Yeah, James definitely put himself in a good finishing position here, thinking this thing's going to run to the green, and that's going to help him. He came into the race sitting 5th in the point standings. So, definitely trying to carry the momentum on to what he's had so far this season, and see if he can bring home a podium. He hasn't had a podium since Daytona when he finished 3rd there. He had, got 4th at the second race at California, but then other than that, kind of been outside the top 5.
Casey McMullen also lost a second on pit road to Richie Coy, so he's 3.5 back of him, it looks like. So he's got some extra work to do to get there. We know he's got a little bit stronger of a short run car, but as the laps keep ticking, Richie and Casey actually kind of kept it very similar. What surprised me, typically Richie's got the faster car, but Casey, he's got a shorter run car. I think he's going to try to use him up as much as he can, maybe hope for a caution to get a reset. That's all he can do really at this point.
Yeah, and in four laps, we've seen 3 seconds tick off that lead that James Wallace had on Richie Coy.
We got a crash. Huge. James Wallace, your race leader, gets in the back of Brian Bliss and Chuck Sweeting as Chuck came up the racing surface. Huge mistake here. We'll have to take a look here on Nerd TV to see exactly what happened. But Chuck Sweeting looks like he got loose off the exit turn number 2. And this time, let's not get see it right there. It gets loose, comes back up the surface. We're going to get you in slow motion. Hits the 18 right here, right in front of your race leader. And several good cars' nights are basically over.
Man, yeah, and I was just about to say Chuck Sweeting ended up being on the end of the lead lap there. So he was just in front of your race leader, James Wallace. So he was going to be one, and he was hoping for a caution, but hoping not to be in it. But that's unfortunate, reading the race, just talking about how great of a run James Wallace is having, and then just unfortunate, like you saw there on their TV, Chuck Sweeting getting loose, tried to save it, and just came up in the 18 of Brian Bliss, and nowhere for Wallace to go.
Chuck Sweeting came on the radio with a deep apology. Then he exited the server. Your second place runner first place that got hit in that 3-car crash on the backstretch, his night is done. He is backed out of the server. That's going to go from second place all the way back to probably 20th when this thing's all said and done, 19th or 20th. Huge change up here. That is just, oh man, that's so hard to see. You know, a guy running so good, had a good strategy going, and then just have something that's out of his control happen like that. I mean, it's part of racing, but it never gets hard to see, or easier to see rather.
Yeah, it's, you're sitting there thinking, okay, he's catching me. You're looking at the times. Okay, I got some time to give. Let's see what happens. Either way, I got a top 5 car here. Let's just bring it home. So far, so good. And then just something like that happens, and it's unfortunate because, like you said, you're going from first, possibly top 5, to finishing, 20th position. So unfortunate night for sure.
James Wallace was 5th place in points at the start of this race, rather, and that's going to move him down as Richie Coy is definitely right behind him in points in 6th, only 5 back. So he's going to move up a spot. James is probably going to lose a couple spots, but that's being 24 points out. You can't really do that when your teammate Ryan Hendricks just doing his thing and staying out of harm's way. And right now, currently sitting in 4th, he gets, I think, there's going to be a lucky dog. I think it's going to be Brian Dublé, but I think the real lucky of the dog is going to be Ryan Hedrick missing his green flag pit stop twice, staying on the lead lap, and now he's going to be restarting in 4th with a shot to win this thing.
Yeah, that's definitely the story there. I mean, you missed pit road twice, not even once, but twice, and you're still sitting top 5, sitting in 4th place with your teammate right behind you, Josh Johnson. Unfortunately, with James being out, they're going to lose that little teamwork that they had there. But Brian Dublé, I think you said, is going to be back on the lead lap with the lucky dog. So that's going to put, 3 of those teammates there back on the lead lap, as we're going to have, looks like 12 cars now in that lead lap.
Yeah, it looks like 12. Brian Dublé does get his lucky dog. So that is your official lucky dog recipient. Getting his 1 lap back. Puts him, 11 spots away from the leader. He did start this race in 1st. So I wouldn't 100% count him out. His car is not in the best shape, but we've seen some weird things happen. We might get something going for him. You never know. And
he's sitting right in front of Richie, so I'm wondering if he's going to be the lucky dog or if it's going to be Steve, because you can see Richie Coy right there behind him. We'll kind of see where this thing cycles through. Maybe he needs to get a wave around or something here.
Yeah, I guess you could be right. My scoring, for some reason, wasn't up to par, at least on my end anyways. But, yeah, he's sitting in front of Richie, so that should actually bring him a wave around. We'll see. They do the wave around now. And, so that's going to be it. Brian Dublé is going to cycle through here and head to his rightful spot at the tail end of the longest line. Steve Loomis is still going to, looks like he's going to remain 1 lap down. So, I think Brian Dublé still got I don't know. It's kind of confusing because Steve Loomis didn't get a lucky dog, but Brian Dublé, who was 1 lap down at the time of caution, first 1 lap down, he should have been lucky dog, but apparently iRacing wanted to give him the wave around instead.
Yeah, either way, he's back on the lead lap, so he appreciates that. Kind of see if he can fight up to the front. He's got some damage, but they've been working on it all throughout the race, so see if they can get that damage kind of knocked out and get some speed back into it, but maybe get a top 10 out of it. He's sitting, like I said, 12th right now is how many cars we have on the lead lap, so this thing finishes the way that's been going all race. 12th might be his worst case scenario, so but top 10 is definitely where he wants to be, up there with his teammates who's sitting in the top 5 right now.
Yeah, we're about to go back to green flag racing here. Richie Coy to the point. Brian Dublé is going to need 1 more caution to get some new tires to get himself in position, but my eye is going to be on that number 47, Ryan Hendrick, DraftKings Chevrolet. We'll see the Richie Coy waiting for the green flag. Green flag is out. Casey McMullen with an excellent start. Actually has to lift slightly because he jumped it a little too well, and you can't be the race leader when you start 2nd place. And that's going to cost him, as Sherwood Williford's looking to get a good run. Richie with a really slow middle 1 and 2. And Casey McMullen with a huge run on the top takes the lead.
Yeah, you can see that big run coming from Casey on the outside, and Richie just couldn't get it going, couldn't get that grip. As Casey's going to come down a little low here. Richie's getting really close to him, but they're keeping it closer, keeping it safe. He's going to come off a turn 4 as the race leader. But, yeah, Richie had struggle there in turn 1 and 2 on that restart, and Casey took full advantage, but Richie's going to start getting up to speed here as he's got Ryan Hedrick right behind him in 3rd place.
Richie dips down. He's got some heat in that tire. Now he's going to take a stab back at Casey McMullen. He wants his lead back.
Watch out behind in the background. Josh Johnson inside saved it.
That's the second time this lap that he's gotten loose. He actually got loose on the front stretch in that last set of corners. And that car's not running up to speed, but side-by-side race leaders.
Yeah, see side-by-side come across start-finish line. On that one, it's still going to believe, yep, Casey McMullen's still going to take that one, but Richie Coy is going to try and take that top spot heading into turn 1 as he drives it down the inside where he's been. Well, Josh Johnson again in turn 1 and 2 saved it. That car is not his best friend. Oh, as we see Richie Coy there getting a little loose coming off of 2 as Casey McMullen's going to go back to the race lead with Ryan Hedrick sitting there trying to follow suit, but he's going to, as he's been doing all day, keep it conservative and not push the issue, but Richie Coy coming back on the inside.
Richie, whenever he has a moment, he likes to get it back, and this is twice now he's going to take a stab at Casey McMullen. And Matty Superman Watkins has actually put himself in position as well here. My pick, Ryan Hedrick, running the top, so I'm going to go 3 wide for the race lead, exiting turn number 2.
Almost is Richie Coy there, almost touching Casey McMullen. He's trying to keep it down that inside, but you can just tell he's just kind of scrubbing some speed, but he's been enjoying it down there on the inside. But Casey McMullen, as you can see, kind of come right there. They've been doing that every so often in that middle of turn 3 and 4. They're coming, but you're going to see Ryan Hedrick's actually going to go on the outside here of Richie Coy. I think Richie might need to kind of get up to get a little better angle because he's not getting the run off that he wants.
He's not in 25 laps to go. Ryan Hedrick backs the corner up and once again does a nice little slingshot here, trying to make it 3 wide again. Just does not have enough room this time. Casey McMullen with a huge launch with Ryan Hedrick, and Richie Coy got a little choked up there. Exiting turn number 2 is going to give up second place and almost third place. He gets really tight in the middle of 3, going off drop back to 5th place. This changes everything up for Richie's game plan. Ryan Hedrick has now got some pressure with Matty Watkins taking over second.
Yeah, you can see Richie just can't keep it going off of the exit there off of turn 2 and just loses so much momentum. And as you saw there on their TV, just had 3-4 drivers go right around him as he's trying to fight back on Shane right now. Who's up for the lead though? Casey McMullen's having a little battle there by our points leader Ryan Hedrick with Super Matty Watkins there on the outside. So we got a great battle here for the lead. This has probably been the most action for the lead we have had all day, but I don't expect Richie Coy again. Shane Papala there on the wall.
Luckily avoids everyone. Super unfortunate for him. We stay green flag. That could have been huge, but thankfully not. And we got actually 3 wide again for the race leaders. We're going to show a quick replay of what just happened to Shane Papala. Heavy impact to the outside of turn number 4. You see right there, just gets loose, steps out, and boom, heavy contact. Misses Wayne Grassi barely. But as we kick it back live here, Matty Watkins still side by side with Hedrick. They were through wide for a quick moment, and they have not lost anything on Casey McMullen, but I'm sure Casey's liking this view.
Yeah, they were through wide there for a second and got a little bit, as you see, a nice little section up there by Matty Watkins getting right up on the back bumper of Casey McMullen. But yeah, they got a 3 wide and they got a little squirrely there and everyone kind of fanned out, but they're not losing any ground. They're keeping it going. This is an exciting race as Matty Watkins still trying to run that high side there and everyone else is looking low. As you see Ryan Hedrick here on the inside of Matty Watkins battling for second place as Casey's just kind of going top to bottom, just holding off that top spot as much as you can. As we see Matty Watkins here with a run as they're heading down in turn 1.
This is super exciting, absolutely. And here he goes, Matty Watkins taking his stab at Casey McMullen. Casey's car just looks a little too comfortable, a little too tight. Matty Watkins running a little bit more on the edge is giving him a good run off the exit of turn number 2. It's going to bring Hedrick with him potentially for second place, but new lead change, 99, Matty Watkins to the lead.
Super Matty Watkins into the lead position as they're heading off of turn 4 now, and I'm kind of looking back through the field behind him here, and Richie Coy's car is just not happy right now. You see him coming off, and he's just trying to fight that thing, but he's fighting back. I mean, he's giving it his all. He's not one to count out as we're kind of coming down to the end here. We got 20 laps to go. Matty Watkins in the lead with Ryan Hedrick, Casey McMullen, Richie Coy, and Kevin Rupert coming back to be in the top 5. What do we got going on?
Ryan Hedrick hits the outside wall of turn number 2 just enough to make him lose the spot over Casey McMullen. That's probably going to tighten up that Chevrolet for sure. Richie Coy takes a stab at the bottom of turn number 3 and 4, and he's probably going to end up sacrificing this. Actually gets a pretty decent launch even after that impact to the outside wall. He's got some ground to gain, but now he is struggling to keep up for third.
Yeah, and Matty Watkins is loving every bit of this. He probably wishes someone would get up there with Casey McMullen and battle it out and kind of let him get a little room on him. But yeah, as we see Richie there, he just can't keep his car under control there on the bottom side. It's been working for him all race, but when he's sitting here in in the middle of this pack where he hasn't been. It's unfamiliar territory for him. He's just fighting that thing as it's coming off the corner, but he's definitely not giving up. As you see, Wayne Grassie's actually kind of looking on the inside of Richie Coy.
Yeah, something's different. I don't know if it's just the rubber end of the track and everyone on the same set of tires, but Richie's found himself in a place where he's not found before, and it's just turn 2. He's just struggling so bad. He just can't get anything going. It looks like the car's just really stepping out there on late exit. Unable for him to get on the gas pedal and make any type of ground up. As he takes another stab, he's been really strong in 3 and 4. He's going to go back to the inside of Ryan Hedrick. No problem. Gets side by side. It's just turn 2. Let's see if we can get that thing launching off the corner.
Yeah, and as they're battling, as you see right here going on the inside of the one of Kevin Rupert, you have Sherwood Wilford, who's sitting third in the points coming into this race, 14 points back of Ryan Hedrick. So with Brody being out, that kind of moves him to that second spot, and he's just keeping it up, trying to keep it close to Ryan Hedrick, keep that points battle there as close as he possibly can. But this little group here for 2nd through 7th is going to be a close one. So Matty Watkins is kind of pulling a little ground. I think he's going to be about half a second ahead of these guys as they're coming with 16 to go.
Yeah, my eyes still on Richie Coy at this point in time. He gets an excellent launch into the bottom of 1 and 3, especially 3. That car just makes up so much ground. As he gets on exit turn number 2, just can't stick it, but turn 3 is definitely his corner. They actually pulled a decent amount over him. Matty Watkins is holding his ground over Casey McMullen. We're on lap number 148 of the scheduled 163. Looks like Richie's just creeping in. You see side-by-side action for the top 5 as Wayne Grassie's taking his stab at Ryan Hedrick.
Yeah, definitely Richie Coy's coming in late here on this run, and you can see he's not hitting the corner of turn 2 as well as he has been all race, but he's definitely washing it up a little bit better than, he's not sitting there being pinched on the bottom, so he's getting a better run. But yeah, you're correct. 3 and 4, he kind of cuts it down to the inside and just gets that run off, and he's slowly but surely gaining on Casey, and he might be actually passing Casey here within this next lap or 2 as they're coming off of turn 4.
We got to keep him on camera for turn 3. I'm just so impressed. He does lose a little bit of ground here, but the ground he makes up entering that corner is just, it's mind-boggling that the car's able to stick like that. He gets a good run there on Casey. Casey's going to get the launch off the diamond-esque corner entry there at turn number 3, but turn number 2 rather. We're gonna see here as he dives into turn number 3. Let's see if he gains that ground like I've seen before. Just look at this ground gain. He's almost to the back bumper, and he was about 5 car lengths away from him entering that corner.
Yeah, and he's making it stick too. So he's definitely got 3 and 4. As we see, they're gaining actually on Matty Watkins. Matty had a bad exit there off of 4, and that's brought Casey McMullen and Richie Coy right there to his rear bumper. Since sitting back there, and then as we see a little bit further back, then we got Ryan Hedrick kind of lost a little bit of ground too. That's going to put him in the 6th spot right there in front of Sherwood Wilford.
Yeah, Sherwood's got that spot taken for him for inside the top 5, and yeah, as Ryan Hedrick does, I think that right side damage is just tightening that car up more and more and more. But we're looking at the back end of Matty Watkins here as we're coming up with 12 laps to go in the Atlanta 250, and these top 3 cars, Ken, are right there.
Yeah, Richie Coy's definitely pushing it, and Casey McMullen's not trying to give it up because as they're coming off the corner there, getting as close to the wall as they absolutely can. But if Richie can get around Casey here, Matty's gonna be looking in his mirror to see what happens, because we know Richie's had the car all night, and right there you see he gets that run there in 3-4. That's so good, but then Casey just has that angle as he comes off, and that's just kind of slowing up that run that Richie has, and Richie's falling in line. But we got about 11 laps to go, so. As we see, Matty's just holding on, as we see Richie got a little loose here, had to check up, and his car's a little wobbly. He's going to actually lose 3rd place to Wayne Grassie there.
Wayne's making a pretty decent charge here. We had not paid attention to him after he passed Hedrick for 4th, but that car's on a mission as well, and Richie Coy just getting too loose on the bottom. He's going to have to change something up to make any ground back up, but minus turn 3, that car is just not looking as comfortable as it has been all race long. Wayne Grassie just under 0.7 of a second from your leaders, and Casey McMullen's putting a decent amount of pressure on Matty Watkins here, as now we're just under 10 laps to go. Big
run here coming off of turn 2. You saw Casey slow up as they were in 1 and 2, and then got back into the gas a little early and was able to get that huge run off the high side off turn 2. It's going to get him there. Coming off of 3 and 4. Casey's slowly getting a little bit closer to Matty, as we see Matty had the Looks like he got a little tight coming off the corner there, so going to get a big run here by Casey. See if Casey looks on the inside. Nope, he's going to stick it to the outside. 9 laps to go. Casey is definitely making his ground, but Wayne right behind him, Jeremy.
Wayne's coming on strong. You see Casey
Maddie's
run
a little
that.
loose here.
Oh, a little too loose, a little too late. That's going to bring Casey completely around Maddie. Lead change entering turn number 3. This is huge, and Wayne Grassi's actually licking his chops as he sees a side-by-side action, and he is closing in, and Richie Coy has not let go as well. This is now a 4-car battle with just under 8 laps to go.
I was just looking at that. Richie Coy sitting there as well, so he's not looking too far back, and Wayne's not in unfamiliar territory. He finished 4th of this race last year, so he's definitely knows his way around this place. Definitely has a top 5 car. Whoa, as we see wreck of the cars here. Casey and Maddie got into it.
All 4 leaders.
Then Richie Coy's getting taken out here by Casey McMullen as McMullen came down. Oh, bad. We don't have a caution.
Oh, he came back up the track. Caution is out. Everyone avoids. Oh. We're going to catch all that action on TV for you guys here, but oh my, this just changed up the entire landscape. This is going to give Sherwood Williford a chance at something that he didn't even think he had a half a lap prior. I don't know. Casey had a good run on the top, just came down, and Maddie Watkins, and they just came together. We're going to see it here in this nice little customized, zoomed out, free-floating camera and chase view. As they exit turn number 2 here, you see Maddie coming up. And if you watch the seams there on the track, you see Casey kind of hug that line there, and Maddie just came up, and he probably didn't expect Casey McMullen to not be so low on corner exit, which that starts the kabobble there. And actually no caution was given for that. It's when the 71 came back down the track. As you see, here is Dustin with some excellent footage for you guys on Nerd TV.
Coy almost made it by, too.
Yeah, it's just he did everything right, Ken. He went down to the bottom of the track, way down there on the apron, and just could not clear Casey McMullen.
I want to see who it was that right as he came back up on the track there, he almost hit. I'm going to try and search back through and see who it was, but right as he came back on the track, I thought he was going to take out that would be the 14 of Wayne Allen there. So Wayne Allen barely got by on that one.
Yeah, we're going to take another look here. We got about 2 laps to go before we go back to green, I think. So we got some time to show you guys some extra footage. Wayne Allen here entering turn number 3. Just, woo! We had the same exact reaction. That was... You couldn't fit more than a binder's worth of space in between Lane and Casey McMullen. That was so close from that Mountain Dew Chevrolet.
Yeah, that was close there. Kind of listening in the chat. Maddie's walking saying it's a little bit of the net code. I guess we can see it a little bit, but yeah, it kind of looks like he came up a little bit, but net code always, sometimes we don't think it's going to do anything, and sometimes it does do something, but that's unfortunate for them. But we did see him come down pit road, so we do have some pit, the pit stops there. I think right now we're still showing, looks like Maddie Watkins still in first with Wayne in second, Casey McMullen in third. That can't be right. I got to be back at the replay, don't I? No, I'm still sitting there.
Yeah, I see Casey and Brian coming down pit road to service their cars, get that damage fixed. But yeah, if I don't think there was any net code on that. It's just Casey just didn't go up higher on the exit of the corner like everyone has been doing, and so I really feel like Maddie Watkins felt comfortable shifting up a little bit higher and just didn't expect the 71 to be there so early. So I feel like that was just a big old racing incident. Obviously nothing intentional. It's just they just came together racing for the lead under 10 laps to go, and things like this happen. And this is product of the racing. And you see Casey McMullen giving a little bit of an apology back to him, and that's just super unfortunate. But you see the 57, Josh Johnson. He is your new race leader, that rookie from...
He's looking super clean, too. Like, if you look at his car there, no damage on it. He's been keeping a clean race, hasn't been up in the wall, kind of looking through the back. Behind him, Sherwood Wilford. His car just has a tiniest little bit of damage on the right side. Might have got into the wall, and then behind him, we saw Ryan Hedrick hit the wall. Richie Coy in that last accident. Kevin Rupert's car is looking pretty clean. But everyone else on the track, you can definitely see that they've got some damage. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on Kevin, and definitely the one that's starting there in the first spot there of Josh Johnson. He's keeping it clean all race, and he's sitting pretty. That the 57 and the 47 there, Josh Johnson and Ryan Hedrick, they're trying to get that rookie points battle going and a little teamwork here. So those two are going to be fighting it out here for the lead. We're going to go back to green with, what do you say, about 2 to go? 3 to go? 3 to go, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 to go, and I appreciate you saving me from my brain fart. I was thinking of Boomerang Motorsports 57 of Josh Johnson. Third place, Ryan Hedrick, he's on his team and still lurking. And this gives Richie Coy another chance to get back to his lead. So there's a lot of different stories that people want to complete here, getting back to where you were all night. You got people lurking to, maximize points. And these guys are third and fourth. The guys in first and second had no idea they had the shot. So we know they don't have the fastest car, but with just a couple of laps to go, this is not an official green-white checker. So if they do wad them up, we have, I think, one more shot at it. It's gonna be curious. I don't know how these guys are gonna fare, but they're gonna have their best shot of the evening right now. Pace car has dipped down.
Green flag,
Josh
green
Johnson,
flag.
the control car, does hit the green pedal, or the go pedal for the green flag. Richie Coy with an excellent start there on the back of the 57 already in turn number 1.
Yeah, I was wondering how Richie Coy was going to be doing with that damage after that wreck, and he had a great start there, but as we see, he's kind of falling back, and as we see Josh Johnson up into the wall. I just talked about how clean his car was, and there he is up into the wall. That's going to actually put, is that going to be Sherwood Wolford out there in the front spot, as Josh Johnson is losing a ton of spots there in a hurry, but as we see, that's going to change up the lead.
We got
Sherwood
more
Wolford.
cars wrecking the 55 and the 7. Wayne Grassy puts himself in a terrible spot. Everyone's 55 around.
Oh, hard on the outside wall.
All right, man.
Caution is out.
Caution is
Multiple
out.
cars injured badly in this one. Super unfortunate for Wayne Grassy. Wayne Grassy. Oh,
hard hit. That was kind of like yesterday's hit in the in the real race at Talladega, Talladega, because they had that speed like that. No, in Atlanta, hard hit though in that outside wall, as we see here on her TV.
Yeah, you're gonna call the ambulance onto the racing purpose for this one. His car's still sitting on the track. But watch this, just hood just gone, annihilated. See the 18 get clipped. Huge, heavy impact. You went from 170 miles an hour down to 0 in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, and kind of looking back through the field after that restart, you're going to have Josh Johnson, who started first. No damage on that car whatsoever. Goes off in the turn 1 and 2, hits it in the outside. Ooh, hard hit, as we see right there. That's what we were looking at, as he just went straight onto that outside wall. But back to Josh Johnson. Started, no damage, comes off a 2, damage, loses a ton of spots. That's still going to put him back in 5th on this restart. But Sherwood Wolford, the other one that had very minimal damage, coming into the day with the good point standings. I mean, he was sitting there running 3rd in points, so this is what he needed. Ryan Hedrick, though, sitting in 1st, he's right behind him in 2nd place, and then Richie Coy is going to be in 3rd. But we did see that speed, change there, Jeremy, in 1 and 2 with Richie, as they kind of pulled on him.
Yeah, with Sherwood here, this is the last restart. No matter what flag comes out afterwards, whether it be yellow or checker flag, this race will be official. So Sherwood's sitting in a really good spot. If he can get a good launch over Ryan, he might have a decent chance here. We know Richie, his car looked really slow on that restart. I don't think he's going to have anything unless something happens with the front 2 cars. Kevin Rupert, one of those cars that have not been there. He started 8th, been kind of lurking top 10, but nothing really much in the top 5 other than maybe one time for a short period. He's found himself actually in a really decent spot here to do something. And then, Josh Johnson, hopefully his car can still, I know it's just a little bit slapped to the right side retaining wall on that last restart. Hopefully he can keep it going as well.
Yeah, and we have, Sherwood has gained 14 spots here. Since this drop of the green flag, started 15th, sitting in 1st place, and then another car that's gained 14 spots as well, sitting in 6th place. We have Shane Pipala there. We saw him have a little bit of trouble, quite a few laps ago, and he's found his way back up into 6th position. So his day's not over, and sitting right beside him in 7th position is going to be Brian Dublé, your pole sitter. So he's back up there. We've had some good movers going on through the race, and I even see Steve Loomis here, top 10. He started 24th, so there's 14 spots gained for him as well.
Quite impressive there. It's kind of curious. Yeah, Shane Papala started 20th. Going to be restarting in 6th. We always find the one or two cars that find their way gaining a crap ton of positions. We've seen cars from 29 spots back to win the thing. You've got a couple guys who've passed 2/3 of the field to get to where they're at. We've actually have not seen like Steve Loomis up in the top 10. We don't know what kind of car he has for these short runs. We haven't really paid much attention, so he might be able to gain a few more spots when this is all said and done. Shane Papala got some damage on his car. Not entirely sure how his car is going to perform.
Casey McMullen and Matty Watkins still back up here in the top 10 after that wreck they had a couple laps ago.
That's just true. Gives another shot for Matty Watkins and Casey to hopefully get their damage fixed, and hopefully as well that their car is 100% repaired, or at least close to it.
Yeah, this will be a good one. So I'm ready for this. We're going to have our first and only green-white checker attempt right here, Jeremy. So after this flag, whatever flag's going to be, that's going to be the race.
It sure would. And speaking of Sherwood, he's his car's fast. It's not leader fast, but for 2 laps, hopefully he can figure out something. But he actually might be praying more so for a caution, because if he get a quick caution once again, he might kind of secure that lead spot before Ryan gets there. He's got to control the start really well. He's got less than a lap to figure out how he's going to do the restart. Does he go early? Does he go late? Ryan's been pretty on point with these restarts. So is Richie. Richie, though, he's going to need every single ounce of a restart he can. And Kevin Rupert, kind of curious to see how he's going to do on the start as well.
Yeah, I want to watch to see what Ryan's going to get on the start. I know he's got that damage there from when he got into the wall. We saw it take an effect, kind of dropped him back to that 5th, 6th position. So I think Sherwood's going to have the best spot, the best looking car. He's got 2 laps to hold everyone off. So, it depends on what kind of a start Richie had. He might hold up some of those guys behind him there if he has a slow start. Great start on the restart, but once they got on turn, it was a little bit different. So let's see what happens. See if Sherwood can bring it home.
This will be the final restart in the Atlanta 250. We're going to have 2 laps to get this thing all squared away for you guys. Flagman, super premature, as
He's ready for
always. He is so ready. Not waving that thing, just kind of holding it. Waiting for the green flag, officially, from iRacing's call. And there they go. Green flag is out. Sherwood actually a pretty decent launch over Ryan Hedrick. It's going to give him a good chance here. And actually going through the gears, he actually might have missed a shift a little bit because Ryan Hedrick kind of kept side by side with him.
Yeah, Ryan Hedrick sticking to the outside where he's been all race, but Sherwood Woodford's he's getting a little loose there off the 2. As we see Richie Coy heading into the inside wall, hard hit. He is going to be spinning around. We're going to keep this thing green flag right now. That is unfortunate for Richie going from 3rd to last, but we see Ryan here starting to go. Oop, Shane Papala looks like he's good. Nope, got hit there. That's not Shane. That's the thing got hit into him, but as we see, he's going to save it. We've got a couple cars here that's trying to throw this caution, but look on the inside. Here comes Kevin Rupert, Jeremy. Kevin Rupert's going to be looking coming in turn 1.
Yeah, Brian Dublé is really slowed down, but we're coming down. Oh, and the leader Sherwood Williford got loose in front of Kevin, but cannot hold it. And Ryan Hedrick. Kevin Rupert also got loose. He had a great chance over Sherwood.
Big wreck on the backstretch.
Could not hold it. We got a big wreck on the back, but we have a lead here that Sherwood Williford's got to hold it off for one more corner. And thanks to Kevin getting loose off of turn 2, this is going to give Mr. Williford his checkered flag at the Atlanta 250.
And Kevin Rupert coming right behind him, and Kenneth Schultz round out your 3rd place.
We're going to take a quick look at what happened, what transpired on that last lap.
Ryan Hedrick, he tried to save it, got into that wall, and then when he went sideways, it looked like everyone kind of funneled into him. Man, that was a big wreck there on the backstretch.
So many stories that just changed up. Kevin had a shot. You can see right here, Ryan just doesn't make mistakes. But tonight, the last lap, last turn 2 has been just gets loose and wrecks the 57.
Look at Kenneth go right through. And Matty Watkins.
Casey McMullen, all 4 wheels off the racing surface. I think he might have flown off the track at that point. His car disappeared, so we don't know. But huge impact for multiple guys.
Yeah, you saw right there on your TV, Kenneth Schultz and Matty Watkins. Both of them kind of split the gap there on that wreck, and what a great little piece of driving there. Brought him home 3rd and 4th, so that was a great maneuver right here. We got Kenneth Schultz here. He's going to just squeeze right on through, so don't mind me just coming through. Going to take my 3rd place. Thank you very much. And you see Matty Watkins right behind him.
Just kind of slid right through into a podium position, but did you expect those 3 guys on the podium at all?
You know, Sherwood's been consistently, performing all season, so he finally pulled it off there. But Kevin Rupert and Kenny Schultz, what a run! What a run for those guys. What a bit of luck, what a bit of skill, but hey, you're on the podium. Celebrate.
That's right. We're taking one more look at this thing and looking from, I think this is Matty Watkins' view, and just whoop, just clears the 57. You see Wreck and Chaos from his backside to the left as he cleared someone on the right. All angles, almost gotten the 55 there as well as he transitions back onto the racing surface. Just a crazy, crazy outcome in a lot of positions, a lot of stories, a lot of point standing changes, all within a half a lap's worth of racing. That's just what a wild finish to that Atlanta 250.
What a finish by Gladiators of Racing too. Top, Kevin and Kenneth, top 3 for that team. Great finish.
That's true. Yeah, 2 teammates there, top 3. I'm sure they're super excited. But that's going to take us to the Martin Sports post race show, where we're going to recap everything for you here. We're going to talk to some people, and I think we should go over the final results here in this crazy wild final couple laps at Atlanta. Sherwood Williford taking over the top spot. We got Kevin Rupert in second, Scholes in third. Fourth place ended up being Matty Watkins. Fifth place, Jeff Bratton, who qualified 25th. Actually didn't take lap time. He gained 20 spots to get there. Matthew Gehringer, 21st to 6th. Brian Dublé, your pole sitter, finished 7th. Richie Coy, 8th. Ryan Hedrick ends up in 9th. And Josh Johnson at 57 and 10th.
Unfortunately for Shane Papala there, he's going to get 11th place. Steve Loomis is in 12th. Casey McMullen's going to be a first car lap down in 13th. Brian Bliss is going to be 14th. Wayne Grassi is going to be coming home in 15th. Wayne Allen, 16th. James Wallace, 17th. Chuck Sweeting just couldn't really get it going after he had that mishap on pit road. He's going to come home 18th. 19th is Chris Beck, and 20th is Josh Mayu.
Gil Gawk, 21st. 22nd, James Torrey. 23rd, Chad Lang. 24th, Brandon Elder. And Tony Solari. Don't usually see him in the back. Really early exit with that turn 2 wreck. Going to round out the field in 25th. All right, we got some people to talk to. Kenneth Scholes looks like he is ready for us. Ken, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Didn't expect to see you here in the podium position in third place. So congratulations on that last lap. Chaos. Walk us through that wreck and how you got through.
I seen a hole. I kept my foot in it, and they just parted perfectly. I could drive right down the middle of the 3 cars that were spinning in front of me, and just caught one heck of a lucky break there.
Yeah, it was a great move that you did there. That's going to give you your second top 5 of the year, third top 10. So, these last couple races coming on strong. I think you came in the points 15th. So this third place is definitely going to help, especially with some of those guys ahead of you kind of falling back a little bit. So great run overall. Good job on the podium finish, and just a heck of a little run there to get through those wrecking cars at the last lap.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was a couple laps down. I just missed pit entry and had a 40-second penalty, coming in too fast and all that. And I just was patient and was hoping for cautions that come out at the right time and maybe a lucky dog or two. And I just went on waiver rounds because I was always one man off on the lucky dogs. But it all worked out great. I'm very pleased with this.
Yeah, it would be too. It's going to be big on your points there. You're 15th in place, and you're going to be passing quite a bit of cars, I would imagine. At least a really good points day overall for being the 5th race of the season. But congratulations once again on your podium finish. Kind of surprised to see you, but kind of glad at the same time. Nice job getting to that last wreck. I know you got some people probably watching you. Who you got a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank Mike Korth, a gentleman that I work with every day at our place that we work, and he watches all the races on Nerd TV televises. And want to thank my teammates, Rob Shoemaker, who was not here tonight, Shane Papilla, and Kevin Rupert. Man, they're great teammates, man. I couldn't ask for anybody better as teammates and all that. And just want to thank you guys up in the booth. You guys do a heck of a job up there, and also the admins and Brody for running a great program here on Mondays, Wednesdays, and for televised, and then the other nights of the week for fun stuff.
Yeah, appreciate those kind words. I do have to ask, since you mentioned Shane, is his last name Papilla or Papala?
I'm not 100% sure. I think it's Pippola, but I'm not 100% sure. I've never asked him. I
Okay,
always
that's
call him
just
Shane.
Shane. That's nice and easy. With that being said, though, appreciate everything, man. Congratulations once again on your top 3. Go ahead and celebrate with your team and have a good night.
Thank you much, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you Wednesday night.
Sounds good. That was third place, Kenneth Scholes. Now we have 2 more people to talk to. One being Kevin Ruperts takes home second place. Almost squeaked out Sherwood. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, I got you.
Kevin, a crazy last set of laps there. You almost got Sherwood there off of exit of turn number 2. Cars all day getting loose off of 2, and it fell victim to you as well, even after the chaos. How did you get second place?
I was hoping you could tell me. Actually, I'm pretty sure you had no idea because I was running in the back of the pack early. I mean, I started around 8th, and I was so loose. I fell back to like 20th before that first pit stop. So, you hear them say we took a big swing at it. Well, my crew took a baseball bat and then a golf club, and then just for fun, they took out a stick and swung at it too, and they made the car good there at the end.
Hey, no matter what they're swinging, as long as it's working, and I think you're the cleanest car, to come across the checker flag there. I don't think you had a scratch on it, so kept it out of the wall these 168 laps. So that in itself is nice. But coming home with second place is definitely a good finish as well. But yeah, almost had him there off of 2. I think if one more lap, you might have had a chance at him there. But it was a great overall finish.
Yeah, and that's on me. I mean, he gave me room coming out too, and I just got a little aggressive and kept the throttle in. I knew the car was going to get loose. I should have backed it off just a little bit because I was actually my line was the inside line, so I would have been happy going into 3 and 4 low. But yeah, I got a little loose. I was lucky I saved it, and then yeah, it was a good run. And shocked to see my teammate coming home third there. Actually, I thought my other teammate Shane was going to come home third, but I think he got in that last wreck. And Ken, he was like, I don't know, 2 laps down with 10 to go. Next thing I know, he finished third.
Yeah, Shane had a little bit of hiccup there on the front stretch, ended up at 11th. But yeah, shout out to your pit crew as well, throwing every single wrench, stick, club at the car, and apparently it made the right adjustment at the end. So shout out to them for doing all the hard work to get you up into the top 3. But speaking of that, anyone out there that's watching that you love to shout out to?
I just want to thank my team overall. Rob, Ken, Shane. They're a good group of guys, fun to run with, and it's a lot of fun right out here hanging out with these guys and running these races. And thanks to Brody and the admins for all they do. It's not easy running a league. I understand that, and I just enjoy hanging out with everybody.
I agree. Yeah, congratulations once again, man. Go ahead and celebrate with the team on your second place finish. All right.
Yep. Take it easy, guys.
You too. And that's going to leave all but one person left. Your race winner, Mr. Sherwood Williford. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, man, I got you.
Congratulations on taking the checkered flag at the crazy last few laps here at the Atlanta 250. Your car been running pretty good, top 10. I feel like I know you had to come back from 15th starting place, and tell us, man, how did you get your car running so good and up to the front and ended up winning the thing?
Actually, when the track was rubbering up, it started coming to my set. The car got better. And it wasn't quite as sketchy and loose, and on the short end of the pit stop. So I made up some on them pit stops, and which it hurt me in the long run. But yeah, the car was good and just took care of it, and got that caution there late, and a chance to to make something happen.
Yeah, you mentioned, keeping your car from not hitting off the walls or anything. It doesn't look like you had very little damage if you might have got into something one little time, but car was clean overall. And I know you came into the race, 14 points back in the point standing, sitting third, but you finished 8 spots ahead of Ryan there. So you're definitely going to gain and be right there battling for the points lead. So great start to the season, and, congratulations on the win. It was a heck of a race done by you there.
Well, I appreciate it. It was fun. Hate to see this old track configuration go, but had a good week here this week with it, so send it off in style, I guess.
Yeah, we're not going to see too much more of this. Whenever iRacing gets it updated, it will become a third super speedway in the NASCAR schedule. For better or for worse, depending on what kind of styles you like. But Atlanta, I've always enjoyed as well. I'm on your boat there, and but congratulations once again. Do you have anyone watching out there on Nerd TV that you'll love to give a shout out to, or just a big thanks?
Timothy Morris, attorney. He's my sponsor, a good friend of mine. He helps me out with being able to race. The Blackwater guys, man, they do an awesome job as far as getting the cars right and making sure we got a competitive piece every week. And FTSR, I mean, great league to run in. It's awesome to win a race here. And you guys for coming on the sponsor. You're doing a hell of a job. I mean, with the broadcast.
Appreciate all those kind words, and yeah, nice job on the racetrack as well. I'm glad to get you up in here and talk to you. So, but congratulations, and go ahead and celebrate with the team and enjoy the rest of your night. All right,
All right, bud. Thanks.
you got it. And that was your race winner, Sherwood Williford. Kenny, thoughts on the race, man?
You know, we saw some people up front. I don't even think they believed that they were going to be up front, but they made it up there. Like you heard, you know, Kenneth was 2 laps down, 10 to go, and comes home third. So it's great to see some of these guys up in the front. And unfortunate for the other ones that gotten caught up in the wrecks and were out early and then even out late. But overall, it was great racing. You know, we saw a big green flag run all the way up until towards the end. Then cautions breed cautions, but overall, it was a great race. And yeah, it's going to be a shame to see this track go, but I'm excited at the same time to see the new configuration come into iRacing.
Also, a configuration I like to see is next week. Actually, we're going to talk about Wednesday in the truck series. We got COTA, Circuit of the Americas, going to be leading off these guys on the first road course of the season. I think it's the only road course of the season that is as well. Race number 6 for these truck guys. They're going to do 37 laps around that huge racetrack in Texas. I'm always looking forward to the road courses. And then right after that, we see Richmond, Martinsville, Bristol, dirt. We got a couple of short tracks. So after a road course, a few short tracks before we get to a super speedway of Talladega. Going to be a crazy set of races this next month, Kenny.
Yeah, we you know, short tracks, tempers are going to be flaring, so it'll be fun. You know, they're going to get it out. They're going to go to the road course, then duke it out with the 3 short tracks, and then they're like, you know what, let's let them have it at Talladega. So these next 5 races, really, it's going to be a good stretch and a good mix-up of different tracks and how everyone's going to run it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Like to give out a quick thanks to everybody once again before we kick off Nerd TV off into the sunset. Thanks FTSR for letting us do this for you guys every Monday and Wednesday night. FTSR.net, or the full link works as well, fullthrottlesimracing.net if we don't get the abbreviation. As you see, time and time, I don't need to explain it. These guys are awesome. Respect across the board is fantastic. Do a lot of good, solid racing almost every day of the week. So whatever fits your schedule, they got you covered. Fullthrottlesimracing.net. Sim Racing Points, which was the official sponsor of the truck series on Wednesdays and the official results we had just a short bit ago. Admin's best friend as far as getting your points all situated. Don't need to do any manual calculations. It has everything done. Nice, fancy, neat widgets for your website. Check out their pricing at simracingpoints.com. And then you have a Martin Sports. Use Super Nerd at checkout for 25% off of their awesome apparel lineup, whether it's hats, shirts, hoodies, nerd swag. I said it in the beginning. You see Kenny waving these old gloves. They brought me some good, solid laps around some racetracks, and actually picked up some racing time in these things, and they don't disappoint. Keeps your hands nice and dry. If you have sweaty palms like I do, you won't have that problem anymore with their sim gloves, which they are the home of all sim racing gloves, I would say. That's martinsports906.com. Then you got iRacing, iflag.com as well. Super Nerd for 15% off. Caution lights being brought into your sim rig. You might have seen them on the commercial break we had. He had a little 3D model flashing on the left-hand side of the commercial. Shows you what it kind of looks like. Really bright flashing lights. Can't miss it. Keeps you in the action. That's iRacingIFlag.com. And then you have the butt kicker as well. That's that thing you put on the bottom of your chair that makes you feel like you're inside the actual race car itself. deep level of gamer immersion. Second to none. Don't have anything else like it really out there on the market. Gamer 2 unit especially is one of the best ones out there. Use Nerd TV at checkout for 20% off at thebuttkicker.com. All right, that's going to be it for Nerd TV. We're going to wrap this up, Kenny. That was an awesome event to end Atlanta, probably the last one that we're ever going to call it this regular speedway configuration. Hello to the new asphalt soon, but until Wednesday, we'll see you guys at 9 p.m. Eastern. Shut off the trucks at Circuit of the Americas. Have a good night.
Later, nerds.